nutritious. Quality when you taste it. Once you feel it, once you see it, once you taste it, it's real. Trust the flavor, the Caribbean grace, it's real. Caribbean grace, it's real.
I just need to know, whose side are you on?
This part's where the experiment really begins.
This ain't no place for no hero. This ain't no place for no better man. This ain't no place for no hero who call home. They're coming. This ain't no place for no hero.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. We're Cayman 27, Cayman Informed.
Georgetown Harbor sleeping quietly on Sunday night. Captain Theo and Rex Crichton making Christmas bright. The Cayman brack, the cocoa plum covers the ground like grass. And people you don't know at all wave hello as you pass. Country and western and dirty reeds, that's Cayman. Children sucking on a mango seed, that's Cayman. Nor'wester waves in Hogstye Bay, that's Cayman. Pirates Week, East End Day, that's Cayman. Mr. Howell's shoe shop in the older part of town. Casuarina's leaning on the roadside in South Sound. To look out on the ocean and see various shades of blue. To walk the road at night and find nobody bothers you. Looking crabs with a little flashlight, that's Cayman. Nobody in town after 9 at night, that's Cayman. People in the airport know you by name, that's Cayman. At Rum Point before the Hyatt came, that's Cayman. A nation is a people living out the lives they choose, celebrating when they win, crying when they lose. And those who say Cayman is not a nation legally, it's very clear to me they missed the point entirely. Smelling jerk pork as you're driving by, that's Cayman. Christmas beef, button tonguefish fry, that's Cayman. Your car break down, you get a lift to town, that's Cayman. Sunday cricket, agriculture ground, that's Cayman. A downtown beach where children swim, that's Cayman. Mr. Jim, remember him, that's Cayman. Spots landing and Christmas breeze, that's Cayman. Miss Coney, macaroni and cheese, that's Cayman.
The opinions expressed by Cayman Crosstalk, its hosts, callers, or guests are not those of Hurley's Media or its sponsors.
Here are your latest news headlines from the Cayman 27 News Team on Rooster 101's Cayman Crosstalk. Now, here's the news. A
A violent altercation snarls traffic. What's up, everyone? I'm Doug Dodds. Here's today's top stories from the Cayman 27 newsroom. One man remains in hospital after a violent altercation in Georgetown. According to police, several men were involved in a confrontation Tuesday evening when one man, armed with a machete, lacerated the victim's head. Now, the wounded man then fled but was later hit by a car. Police say 46-year-old suspect is in custody in connection with the incident. In other news today marks the open season on conch and whelks. The Department of Environment limits for conch are 5 per person or 10 per boat per day, whichever is less. For whelk, the daily limits are 2.5 gallons in the shell or half of a 5-gallon bucket or 2.5 pounds clean. Finally today, more than 23,600 invasive green iguanas have been killed and counted so far in this year's cull. More than 9,800 green iguanas were delivered to the landfill on Tuesday, some 4,000 fewer than the cull's opening day tally of more than 13,800. For more news on these stories and others, click on Cayman27.ky or watch the news tonight at 6 with a replay at 7. For Hurley's Media, I'm Doug Dodds. Have a great day.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
Good morning, my lovely, beautiful Cayman Islands, and thank you all very much for tuning in and letting us be part of your morning and part of your day. I'm really grateful to be here this morning, and today is going to be a jam-packed show. As usual, we got the Thunderous Thursdays in the studio today, and it's only thunderous because we got Kenneth Bryan that's going to be coming in, MLA for Georgetown Central, but outside is looking absolutely fantastic, and I think the next couple of days I got a forecast for you that are great, wonderful forecasters that sent over to all of us, so I think you're going to be happy and pleased. Happy 1st of November. You heard my colleague Doug at the very top in the news saying that conch and whelk season is open. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, it is. And I would advise all of you, if you can, make sure that you stick to the limits and so forth. We wouldn't want the enforcement officers and so forth coming down on top of you too much. And frankly, we would like the next generation to really enjoy those wonderful delicacies that we call in Cayman or whelk or conchs. Oh, I'm frustrated by some people that just go and just scavenge. Anyhow, I won't get on my rant so early in the morning. We'll wait for Thunderous Thursdays to happen in about 15 minutes. And he's going, Kenneth Bryan, MLA, is bringing some guests in the studios as well. They're going to be in the first part of the morning. And they're members, various different community members, people just like you and I, just ordinary Johns and Janes of Joe Public that will be into the studios talking of why that they have joined the movement of the people as an initiated referendum for the cruise berthing facility. We're going to hear from various different members of the community on their feeling and their sentiments as well. And then Thunderous Thursdays is going to continue on with MLA Kenneth Bryan. And remember, at all times, we're taking your calls, we're taking your emails, your WhatsApps, anything that you can throw at me except for a rock through the window. I'll take it all. And those numbers are in the studio. It's just 233-1019, 233-1019. That is our in-studio number that you can speak to the guest in the studios or myself. And we urge that because, after all, this is Cayman Crosstalk. And I certainly believe, and I would submit to all of you, that the answers are truly here. And just let it and express it. Own where you're at, no matter where you are and what side you think you may be on, or if you're in the minority, express how you feel. If not, it's going to fester inside. And this is a great venue to really do that. And I just want to sincerely thank all of you for allowing Cayman Crosstalk into your lives and for the niceness and the kindness that you all have been showing to us in terms of referring us or grading average, everything that you've been doing. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. And if you notice, Cayman Crosstalk is the only one within its segment, the only one that has its Facebook page, only real entity on its own within the whole entire cluster of Hurley's media. And so because of that, we are the largest radio talk show audience. And I can't thank you all enough for that, with post reaches that we've reached as high as 383,000 post reaches in a week. And without all of you 4,900 friends, it wouldn't be possible. Your sharing, your likes, and just your kind words have really been proving really, really well. And before I end my segment, I just want to say to the Bodden sisters, I am so proud of you and so thankful for people like you, community-minded individuals. Last night was the 28th Jason Avenue, well, I guess you would say a little Halloween shindig. I wouldn't even call it just a little block party. It has turned into almost a carnival-like atmosphere every 31st of October in Jason Avenue. Your three sisters are doing a dynamic job. And it started off, I was, speaking with Heather last night, started off with 28 apples. And now it's probably gone up to 2,800 bags of candy, ice cream, cupcakes, pizza, popcorn. Oh my gosh, the list goes on and on. Cotton candy, snow cones. It just keeps going on and on and on. So I just want to sincerely thank those wonderful sisters for really putting on a great event last night. The children were able to sit down and enjoy their candy with their families, watch a movie on the grass outside last night, and the weather was absolutely perfect. And for all the volunteers that came out and handed out pizza and the water and the juices, the cupcakes, sincerely, I don't want to call all the names because I may miss one or two, but sincerely thank all of you for making a wonderful night for so many children. I know hundreds of pizzas were ordered. We're sorry that we're filling up the landfill, but I know Domino's is very happy, and I want to sincerely thank Domino's as well for doing a fantastic job. Charlene, thank you very much for being there. Honestly, it's been a great event. Just want to say to the Bodden sisters, thank you very much for creating a safe haven during this time that all little children, little toddlers as young as 1 year old, can come and enjoy with their families and so forth. So thank you. Thank you. But the one gripe that I have, and I believe, honestly, it gets back down to parenting and so forth and guardians. There was enough garbage cans every probably 10 feet. There was a garbage can around the place. I just don't understand how you can enjoy a place that it was absolutely free and just drop your garbage where you stood. I hope that changes, and I hope that you take pride. And even if you didn't drop it, just pick it up and put it in the garbage. It's a neighborhood. They put it on for all of you. It was really, that was my only gripe. If you can just simply pick up your garbage and don't just be nasty. I can't stand it. It ticks me off. Otherwise than that, it would have been a perfect evening. So just take pride in where you are. Take pride in this beautiful island, because I can tell you the truth, it's paradise. And I was driving in this morning and I was listening to a song by the Counting Crows. And to me, it was apropos to the next segment that's going to be coming up. We're paving paradise. And we'll talk more about that with CPR when they come into the studios, and Thunderous Thursdays as well. We got callers on the line. Number in the studios is 233-1019, 233-1019. And we're just going to go straight to that right now. Good morning, caller. How are you this morning?
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, man. It's Elvis in the back. How are you doing, brother?
I'm great, man. I hope you are as well.
Oh, yeah. We just got a little shower rain to wash some of the sins away. Anyhow, I've been talking about the Halloween with the people up there, with the litter.
Yeah.
It's only one how to get rid of that is don't invite the old nasty daughter people with the children no more. It's a shame. Cayman has no pride when it comes to cleanliness. It's next to godliness. We living in hell if that's a part of it. Because the parents don't teach the children nothing, And you take them to nice people, cultured people, And what they do, act like animals, clean and simple. And I with them coming back to the cruise dog business. You know,
Yes, sir.
I always listen, and you know I'm a PPM supporter to the max.
Yes, sir.
But Mario, I listen to Mario, and I regard Mario as a very smart man. I listen to him, and he has some very, very nice points. But when the gentleman from the cruise ship was on there a couple of days ago, that man called, and I think that guy that gave him the phone so he could talk.
Yes.
You know, he insulted that guest to our island. And it was very rude of him. And I know you tried to correct him. So the lady was there because she wanted to talk to him. But he told him, listen, I don't want to hear you on the radio. You know, you like, and to me, that was very rude. That's gone beyond the point of trying to represent your country. You know, that was very, very rude. And I mean, you know, we can mumble and jumble amongst each other over politics and things, but when you can insult the guests that come to our island, you know, I think you're going to the boy side of your style, and you know, you let your emotion get away with you. And I would, and I want you to tell Kenneth, ask the governor if he gonna try to straighten up the civil servant, like what Chadra or what he named done, and get run out of the island too. Thank you very much.
Well, I've asked Kenneth, MLA Brian, he posted yesterday, if you all don't go and is not a friend on his Facebook, go and be there. He posts a lot of stuff on there as well. And Kenneth is very savvy when it comes to the social media realm. And he posted I believe it was probably streaming FaceTime with the new governor, Mr. Roper. And so he had probably less than 2 minutes, a little live streaming video right in the governor's office yesterday. And I've asked Kenneth when he sent over the link to me. I said, Kenneth, well, that being the case, invite him to Cayman Crosstalk, because after all, Chaudhry was scheduled to come and meet with me and meet with all of you as well. And so I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not this governor, during his temporary stint, as I would just call it, can't even really call it as a governor, to be honest with you. If they should just call it an interim governor, because they used that for the Honorable Franz Manderson for the longest period of time. And he served more than 6 months, to say the least. And this gentleman is here between 6 and 8 months before a new one. So I guess will we consider him the interim governor? I don't know. Those things just befuddle me when it comes to locals, and then someone else is given a title that sounds permanent, but yet they act in the same capacity. Those things bother me. Nevertheless, hopefully Kenneth can arrange that, and I know the governor's office listens on a daily basis, but I'll make an invitation to Governor Roper again. Please feel free. You all have the numbers and the contact details, and I give that out to you right now, which is Cayman Crosstalk at hurleysmedia.ky. That is Cayman Crosstalk at hurleysmedia.ky. Or you can call me. I would love to hear the governor on the line as well, because we've had the deputy governor call many times. 233-1019, 233-1019, or simply go on our Facebook page, which is Cayman Crosstalk, and just drop me a line underneath the live streaming video, or simply go on the back end if you don't want people to see what you're saying and whom commenting, the 4,900 people. Well, just simply go on the back end and message me, and I'll keep your ID in strict confidence unless you explicitly say that I can say your name in those capacities. So I just want to sincerely thank all of you. And once again, the WhatsApp number, you just got a message, 324-1019, 324-1019. Time check right now in the studio is 7:18. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hit this because this is a limited time offer, and I like to bring my guests information and also some goodies that they can get from time to time in this very high cost living jurisdiction. And Subway, really our wonderful sponsor for the first hour, is doing another fantastic job Subway, all 6 of their locations now serve coffee in the mornings. And with that coffee, if you get a cup of coffee, you can go up to the counter and you can pick from that gorgeous little cookie display that they have and pick any cookie you want out, any flavor, any size. Well, I mean, they're all roughly the same size, but you get a free cookie with a cup of coffee. Yes, and this may be a limited time offer. So take it up. You can get a really great bargain, a great cup of coffee, wonderful ambiance, nice smiling faces, and you go off feeling that you got something, a deal in the morning, a deal and a half in the morning. So start your mornings off right. And remember, there's 6 locations. 2 locations have been open 24/7 to serve you even better. One in West Bay at Centennial Towers, the other one in Central Georgetown, where MLA Kenneth Bryan represents, at Anderson Square. Subway, eat fresh, eat delicious. And that is for Sammy J. Sammy J, that is for you.
This hour of Cayman Crosstalk is powered by Subway. Subway, with 6 locations across Cayman, you know it makes sense to choose Subway. Subway, eat fresh, eat delicious. More of Cayman Crosstalk is next on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
Sometimes having a middleman is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to insurance. Do you know that when it comes to cost, ease, speed, and peace of mind, insurance brokers ranked higher than when customers buy direct? So, for all your insurance needs, call Fidelity Insurance. We're the middleman you want. Call us today at 949-7822. Fidelity. We're good for you.
Tuning in, let this be part of your morning and part of your day. I have a lovely set of people in this studio this morning. We're talking about a charity and in charity events and so forth, and I like that, to tell you the truth. And I'm looking at Marlene right now, looking at her shirt as well, and I like that, literacy for everyone. And I just want to say to all of you, I got Marlene Conley. She's literacy for everyone. Also got Brooke Moore. She's from the Cayman Islands Crisis Center. And I got Catherine Healy. She's a Simpa chair lady. And I just want to say to all of them, very, very good morning to each and every one of you. Tell us what is on the agenda this morning. I like when we have such a wonderful, benevolent community. Truly, we do.
We do.
We live in a paradise. We really do.
So, to kind of capture that lovely community spirit that we have, the Cayman Islands Marketing Professionals Association is hosting a charity speed matching event tonight at the Kimpton. And 2 of our charities, of the 10 charities that are going to be represented, are here with me today. So Literacy is for Life and Cayman Islands Crisis Center are here. And this evening, we'll all be together at the Kempton meeting with different marketers who are interested in sharing some of their time with any of the local charities on the island. And we kind of gave it a bit of a speed dating feel just to kind of, just
Come
make it a bit more fun. Yeah, just make it a bit more fun and also
That's pretty cool.
Give the kind of the best opportunity for the charities to meet as many marketers as possible in a short space of time.
Neat. So you're going to be really tight with your presentation to them, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that should be cool.
We're thinking it should be kind of informal. So just like a speed dating event, you know. Okay. Hi, my name is, and I like long walks on the beach.
Well, but I tell you what the problem is, and good morning to everyone listening. There's so many charities in Cayman, so many people trying to do so much good for our community. And oftentimes we are very small, we are very under-resourced, and we can't get our message out to as wide an audience as we would like to because we're busy doing the operations of the cause that we're working on.
Right.
So Simpa's idea is a fantastic idea from our point of view as a charity where we have a message, we have ideas, and we want to reach more people in the community and create greater good and more impact.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. I mean, Simpa's always thinking outside the box.
We try. And for the marketers and members and even non-member marketers who are out there who haven't signed up, the charities are not looking for you to become a board member, not necessarily. So we have like 3 categories that we kind of came up with: a committed relationship, which would have been a year-round commitment, i.e., becoming a board member; a summer fling, which would be like helping out with special events, a project or a campaign, so one of the galas or something Christmas related that you would really be able to sink your teeth into kind of for a couple of months. Or a one-night stand, which we said would be like a quick brainstorming session or chat over coffee. Because as I was saying to Marilyn earlier, some of us marketers, we like marketing. We like talking about marketing. We have ideas coming out of our ears. So we're happy to share our expertise with any of the charities who are keen.
That's pretty cool. And Brooke, tell us about your charity, and obviously you're a marketer yourself, but tell us about, Cayman Islands Crisis Center. I mean, I've hosted, Cayman Islands Crisis Center on many times, and I support, that wonderful organization. But for those out there that may not know what you are and who you are, and maybe how we can actually, as a general public as well, help you.
Yeah, so the Cayman Islands Crisis Center has a few different initiatives. Our main focus being an emergency shelter to women and children who are victims of domestic violence. So that is kind of our bread and butter, is to provide a safe house to those who are in an abusive relationship and need a safe place to go. But we also have Estella's Place, which is a walk-in center at Crown Square on Eastern Avenue. And that is a place where if for anyone, women, men, children who may need to just speak to someone, they're not quite ready to leave, or they have questions, or they're kind of in the in-between, or they just need like someone to speak to. We have counselors there who are willing to help. So if someone wants to come in and just talk, we have that available. We also have Taya Lounge, which is an organization for teens age 14 to 21 who may come from an unstable home, who may be high risk, and it's a safe place for them to go in the evenings and be around other children. They learn to cook, they learn different life skills, and then we are soon going to be launching a kids helpline. Governor Roper just mentioned it in his opening remarks the other day. So in the next coming weeks, we have some exciting new initiatives, which would be a line to offer services and a place for children to call if they happen to be in a situation where they need help.
I when I look at what is happening in the Cayman Islands and so forth, and we look at the crime stats, and crazy enough, right around World Cup, we've seen the escalation and domestic violence, which is one of these things that just befuddles me. But the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that if there's children within the household, those are the real true victims as well. And usually they go unnoticed. And I'm glad that you created this avenue for those youngsters to find a respite, so to speak, and know it may sound a little awkward to most, but see what normal life is like. And because I can tell you, being in and around, I guess, social aspects of life for a long while and trying to help people, to them, that's normal. And that is something that we need to break. And for you to create those lounges, I just want to say to Anya, you and the whole entire crew over there, thank you very much for continuing doing what you do.
Thanks. We've got a great staff and we've got great volunteers, but of course, the more the merrier, which is why we're participating in tonight's event. As Marilyn mentioned, a lot of it's getting the word out. So I'm the board member in charge of marketing, and we restructured our board earlier this year so that each board member has a responsibility. So we're in the process of building out a marketing committee to help with all these initiatives, because as the crisis center grows, obviously, resources, become sparse. So as we can build that and help spread that message, that's kind of why we're teaming up with SIMPA.
Excellent. And Marlon, tell us about life. Literacy is for everyone. I like that, to be honest with you. I think.
And it really, really is. Literacy is, I guess, on the opposite spectrum of social issues from the crisis center. The crisis center deals with an immediate crisis in a home and how to turn that around and stop that. Literacy is really a slow community crisis for our country that builds on top of each other year after year, decade after decade, parent to child. It's a generational crisis, if you will, that eventually impacts the entire community. Literacy is for Everyone is Cayman's literacy charity. We're the only charity in Cayman focusing specifically on increasing literacy levels in the community. So we have over 100 volunteers right now who spend 30 minutes a day, once a week, reading with children in our government school system. And we vet them, give them training, and they show up and make a difference in a child's life for 30 minutes once a week during the school year. We also provide intervention programs and teacher training support in the government school system as it relates to literacy. The child's not performing, we assist in one way or the other in that school to get those literacy levels up. But our most popular project right now is our classroom library project, where over the last 2 years we've donated over 15,000 books to the government school system. And that means that books get into the classrooms and into children's hands for them to use. In Cayman, we often make the assumption that children have books at home, and they don't. So this is something that we're trying to work against. We live in an affluent, beautiful country, but not everyone is affluent. And we need to understand that there's so many children who don't know how to read, and if they don't learn how to read by the end of Key Stage 1, that is year 3, there's a 90% chance that those children will never learn how to read. So that translates into behavioral issues. They don't know how to do math and science. They're acting up in high school. So that's what I mean by a long, slow crisis that builds up. So we're a small, very small charity. I'm the only employee of this charity. We have one very dedicated volunteer that assists with the book donation program. Shout out to Erin. But we are really looking for marketing volunteers to help us get our message out on social media in the community, to develop a parent partnership program where we outreach to parents to be a part of that solution. So I think you have two good examples of charities out there who are really looking for people to help at different levels, not just at a board level, but on that summer fling, as SIMPA calls it, and that one.
Or even just a one-night stand, like right now.
Yeah, so we're saying, help, any marketers out there, we'd love to get you on board with these causes.
Yeah, we got I guess you would say, Catherine, we have a sunrise fling this morning. But, I just want to say, your mommy must be very proud, because that was always something. She was one of those teachers that I still remember very fondly as well, that gave everything for literacy. And I agree with you. It's one of those trickle-down effects. And before I started this gig, that was my thing. Every Tuesday morning, I was reading to youngsters, primarily one in primary 1 and primary 2, and just to see them engaging and willing and wanting to be educated and talk about it, and the comprehension skills that came from it is something that, I tell you the truth, only the volunteers will know. And I would say to all of you, if you want to really truly see a plant kind of blossom in front of you, no joke, I'm not exaggerating. You will see it in the eyes, you will hear it in the expressions of those little children. And the best part about it is they have no clue about affluence. They don't know about anything else. They just know about life. And all of them have a wonderful talent that they've been blessed with. And you can help really flourish that as well. You know, Catherine, when I look at what you're doing with all of these various charities, and you got a long list here, but it's not just, tonight is just not geared just to simple members. Non-members can come along as well, and you're encouraging everyone that may be not listed on there as charities. If you're up and coming, and if you think of doing something, or if you're a budding little charity, maybe come by and meet with all of you and start getting registered. Maybe move on to the pathway that both of these institutions have really registered themselves and now planting seeds of goodness.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, non-members, members, anyone who's interested in kind of volunteering in the community should really come out tonight and meet with the charities that are there. I have a feeling that we will have a few of the other kind of budding charities, as you said, maybe come along, see what's going on, talk to some of the experienced charity board members and charity organizers, and get some good kind of feedback and ideas for what they can bring back to what they're doing for their specific cause. I have to mention it's at the Kimpton Seafire tonight, 6 to 8 p.m. The Kimpton are our venue partner, and Wall Creations actually created the cute little graphic that's there on Facebook and Instagram. So if you haven't seen us on Facebook and Instagram, you can check us out there. You can visit our website at simpa.ky. If you are interested in attending, we are asking you to register on Facebook if you can. And if you're interested in kind of the charity side, you can reach out to events@simpa.ky or give us a call, 917-7480. We're hoping to have like quite a nice crowd this evening. Hopefully we'll get to see everybody. Everyone will get to connect and meet up. They're going to be 20-minute rounds, so 2 minutes per charity. It's going to be a fun night. We're really looking forward to it. It's been a little project of mine for a while. When I became chair, I had quite a few people that I knew on charities reaching out to me for assistance and kind of asking for if I knew any marketers who were interested. And I was like, well, let's kind of try and get everyone together in one room and get them all to meet each other at one time, rather than kind of sending out an email to our members, which may get lost in the ether. You know,
yep.
This kind of focused event hopefully will provide some great results for our charities.
I think it will, and you just meet the people as well, and not just hear them or just getting a little expression by email, but you see them and you can kind of click and connect sometimes with people that way. And having said that, I'm kind of curious. I got to ask this question, ladies, to you, Marlon, and also to you, Brooke. You know, right before you go into any kind of speed dating kind of a exercise, you think, your expectations are there. Got to ask you, is it a one-night stand or a summer fling, or what is it that you're looking for, Marlon?
We would love a committed relationship, but we will take a summer fling.
And Brooke, I have to ask you as well.
I would say more of the summer fling. We've got lots of committed relationships going on right now with our board, but maybe a mixture, because we're trying to build out our marketing committee, which would be considered a committed.
So are you looking for multiple partners?
Yeah, I am. Oh, gosh. No, I'm in trouble.
I can tell you, Catherine, if you didn't get the buzz now, you're going to get it now. You heard what it said on Crosstalk? The kind of stuff they do yesterday, today, But Catherine, one last time, I want you to appeal to all of those individuals out there that are maybe listening and also viewing. We got people right now. I can see right now we got people in Hong Kong that's tuned in. Also in Canada, I know they're far away, but nevertheless, speak to the globe and those charities locally as well.
Well, if you're not already in Cayman, I apologize. You will miss this event more than likely.
You can fly in tonight.
You can fly in this evening, maybe not from Hong Kong, but
teleport you.
If if you're looking to give back, if you're looking to see where you can spend a little bit of your extra time and help in our community, we have some amazing charities coming tonight. Crisis Center and Life are obviously coming this evening. Special Needs Foundation, the Cayman Arts Festival, One Dog at a Time, Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Cayman Islands, Cayman Animal Rescue Enthusiasts, and the Cayman Islands Cancer Society are just some of the ones that are coming. We do have a couple more who need to still confirm. And so if it depends, what you're interested in. We've got, social issues. We've got music. We've got, our dogs. We've got health issues. Whatever kind of strikes your passion. All of these help to create a healthy, thriving community that we all want to live and work in.
Excellent. Ladies, I want to sincerely thank you for this morning, and I wish you all the best of luck. And I'm kind of curious, maybe we can get an update what kind of relationships that you gained through the speed dating circumstances. Yes. And the good thing about it is, Catherine, is that no one said they just wanted a one-night stand. So that's a good thing.
This is a good thing.
That's a good thing. We'll be right back after this short little news break. Ladies, have a wonderful day, and I will say to all my guests, Godspeed.
Thank you.
This hour of Cayman Crosstalk is powered by Subway. Subway, with 6 locations across Cayman, you know it makes sense to choose Subway. Subway, eat fresh, eat delicious. More of Cayman Crosstalk is next on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
The Copper Penny. It's been around for...
From happy beginnings and life choices that we make along the way,
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
Family protection and long-term financial plans.
Business insurance and generous employee benefits.
For happy beginnings to happy ever after, visit BritK.ky.
Brit K, where people come first.
Dynafroze, Dragon's Revenge. One day, 4 boys from the future traveled back millions of years through time.
Once upon a time, deep under the sea, there lived a kind and clever little turtle named Tula.
Citizens of Lotus Valley, the hour is upon us. Our way of life is being dramatically threatened. You, the Alliance, are the last hope of freedom and the
Let Elite Marble and Granite bring the charm of Italy to your home. Made from only the best materials. Santa Margherita Quartz is handcrafted at a state-of-the-art facility located in Italy and then journeys across the ocean to Elite Marble and Granite, who is the exclusive distributor in the Caribbean. Elegant and resistant, Santa Margherita Quartz products offer a large choice of colors, textures, and exclusive finishes. Call 945-9028 or visit us online at elite.ky. Elite Marble and Granite, where perfection costs less.
Watch as some of the world's most talented people put their skills to the test as they attempt to make their mark in the record books. You'll witness some of the craziest, scariest, most bizarre stunts people will do, all in the name of stardom. It's the ultimate Guinness World Records, and it's right here on Cayman 27. Capture all the action.
I'm Doug Dodds. Here's today's top stories from the Cayman 27 newsroom. One man remains in hospital after a violent altercation in Georgetown. According to police, several men were involved in a confrontation Tuesday evening when one man, armed with a machete, lacerated the victim's head. Now, the wounded man then fled but was later hit by a car. Police say 46-year-old suspect is in custody in connection with the incident. In other news today marks the open season on conch and whelks. The Department of Environment limits for conch are 5 per person or 10 per boat per day, whichever is less. For whelk, the daily limits are 2.5 gallons in the shell or half of a 5-gallon bucket or 2.5 pounds clean. Finally today, more than 23,600 invasive green iguanas have been killed and counted so far in this year's cull. More than 9,800 green iguanas were delivered to the landfill on Tuesday, some 4,000 fewer than the cull's opening day tally of more than 13,800. For more news on these stories and others, click on Cayman27.ky or watch the news tonight at 6 with a replay at 7. For Hurley's Media, I'm Doug Dodds. Have a great day.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for tuning in. Let this be part of your morning and part of your day. MLA Kenneth Bryan has allowed, CPR to come into the island. They're going to give me a little resuscitation right here. And I just want to say to both of these ladies, and we got, I am happy because I like saying this. We got Caymanians with doctor in their title. And I'm very proud of that. You don't know how proud I am to say that to both of you. I got Dr. Jern and I got Dr. Lugloy. Yes, not the daddy, but I always talk about him quite frequently as well. But we got Luana and we got Katrina Jern in the studios. And ladies, welcome back. And just want to say to MLA Kenneth Bryan, he's been gracious to give some of his time and so forth on this. So I would say to you, Dr. Lugloy, welcome to the studios for the first time. And I hope it's not the first nor the last. I really don't bite too hard, but welcome.
Thank you, Woody, and good morning to you and to your listening audience as well. It's a pleasure to be here.
Ladies, I got to ask you, why, we had Dr. Jern on Tuesday, or earlier the week. Days are melding into each other, but I got to ask you, when I look at the amount of individuals that are really behind this movement, please pardon my vernacular or my non-politically correct expressions and articulations, but we really don't have a bunch of foo-foos behind this movement. We have very, very well reasoned, seen, and learned individuals, like the two of you ladies. And you're just two of many other professionals, other young Caymanians that are now really concerned in putting, frankly, your names on a title and on a movement that has become a hot button item for most. Dr. Luan, I got to ask you, why? Why would you come out from your safe space, so to speak, to be behind or be a part of this movement?
Okay. Well, firstly, I'd just like to say, speaking on behalf of myself this morning, I do volunteer with CPR Cayman. I've been out, collecting signatures at Hurley's and at various other locations. But this morning I speak as Luana Lugloy. And one of the reasons that I've decided to get involved and take the standpoint that I have is that I'm not entirely convinced that what is proposed for Georgetown Harbor is necessary. I'm not entirely convinced that it should be a priority right now for the Cayman Islands and for the Cayman Islands government. I have grave concerns about the kind of impact that it's going to have on Georgetown Harbor. I have been away studying and working for the best part of 20 years. And every time that I would come back home, I would see something that has changed about Cayman, something that has taken it further from the Cayman that I recall it being as a child, growing up. And it's discouraging. I mean, I know that we need progress and that we need growth, but at what cost? Georgetown Harbor is the place where I drive along, even if it's the longer way to go, just to be able to take in that view, that beautiful, crystal clear water. Every time that I come back off the BA flight, I want to drive along the waterfront because that is what feels like home to me. And the thought of that changing is just, it's quite horrifying, to be honest. That is one of the things that the environmental impact assessment could not put a price on because it's priceless. That view that we have of our harbor is priceless. And I know I don't speak alone when I say that. You know, that beautiful view that we have of Georgetown Harbor is invaluable.
Well, I got to ask you, I mean, and I say this with as much respect as possible, how will it change that view? I mean, we already have a dock there. We already have the cargo facilities. We already have Royal Watler that's underfoot. How, in your reasoning, will it change it in any capacity? What will change, do you think?
From my perspective, one of the most sort of important areas of change is going to be the impact on the water clarity and the water quality. This is something that I imagine the tourists themselves marvel at as they're coming in on the cruise ship or on the tender boats. Yeah. They must be amazed by it because I'm amazed by it. You know, sometimes, well, actually, it's a shame because they've blocked off that little parking lot where you used to be able to just pull up, you know, opposite that church, opposite Bar Crudo. You know, people used to just go park up there and, you know, have a chat, have a drink, you eat something, and just admire the sight that we have to behold. I still do that sometimes. I can't do it there anymore, but sometimes I just pull into Burger King's parking lot just to stop and take a few pictures, you know, send them off to some friends in other parts of the world, even just to just have a quiet moment with my thoughts, you know, with nature, with what we've been blessed with, which is our beautiful harbor. So I think that is going to change significantly. Not to mention the concrete jungle that we're going to have, you know, at the end of the day when the whole project is completed. I think that is something that it's important. It's difficult to put a price on that, as I said. I believe Katrina might be able to tell me otherwise, but I believe that the outline business case, when it was first done, was not it was only after the addendum was made that it then became more profitable, I would say, to have the cruise berthing facility.
Well, even then, it's if one would read the footnotes and the changes therein, one can say that there's, instead of creating consistency and continuity with the same, for example, like Groot report, they go back to the ETBB report that was done in the initial one to suit the purposes of it. Yeah. And those are the things that came out and jumped out at me. And you got to ask why.
Yes, we do have to ask the question why. And there are many people that are asking that question. I've heard it said over and over again that there's a small group of environmentalists that are opposed to the cruise berthing facility, but that couldn't be further from the truth. You know, when after the public consultation a few years ago, after the 28-day public consultation, there were over 400 written submissions, and about 75% of those were actually opposed to the proposed cruise berthing facility. So it does not stand to reason that there is a small group of environmentalists that are opposed to the cruise berthing facility. As a matter of fact, there are many people that would like to have a say, but they're intimidated and they're afraid to do so. Our civil service comprises about over 6,000 members of the electorate, and in my petitioning that I've been doing, I still every day come across people that are afraid to sign because they are afraid of the repercussions of doing so. Even though permission has been given for civil servants to sign Class 2 petitions, they feel intimidated to exercise their democratic right, which is sad, really.
It truly is. I got to go and take a little quick break right now, but when I come back, I wouldn't mind kind of touching more on that as well. And I got an email that came through on the 30th of October, and I'll read the time and everything else, but I didn't want to read it before because of how it read. I wasn't sure whether or not the poster wanted me to articulate their name, and so I got their permission now to either do so or not. So today I think it was apropos to read it out. It was not planned in this way whatsoever. I get all kind of stuff, and I'm not just cherry picking. So for you government officials, I just don't cherry pick anything. You can find everything that I say, documented wise, and there's, like Dr. Luke Lloyd just said, there's a lot of questions, more questions than answers. It reminds me of that old 1970s songs. You know, got more questions than answers. But there's another song that came in this morning, and I got to say, I never listened to it, to be honest with you, before. I never listened to it before. It's by a song called, by a group called Counting Crows. They pave over paradise to build a parking lot. I never listened to the words. It was just like that one little, I guess they call it the hook that gets you. And that would be the only thing I really ever heard. This morning, I was listening to the words of it, and I'm like, gosh, I wonder what this group would be thinking when they come down to play at Kaboo in February. And we're doing the same thing right now. And I urge everyone to really, seriously, listen to the words of the song. I was really moved this morning by it. And for example, one little thing that they said in that aspect says, we'll cut down all the trees, but we'll go to a tree museum to see what it looks like because we paved paradise to create a parking lot. Be right back after this short little break. And I've got to do this little time check right now. And this is one of my favorite things to do. And ladies, maybe you can join me as well. You know, hurricane season, my wife and I, we usually create a little grab bag. And the grab bag usually has some non-perishable items inside just in case a hurricane hits that we can run and go, and there will be some food for, you know, our family unit. And Subway, for the last several years, have this thing called the Subway Can Drive. What we do once the 1st of December comes in, and thank you, Samuel Rose, and your beautiful child for making Cayman Thanksgiving something that's on the calendar nowadays. But as the first comes in, we realize that God has blessed us that no hurricanes have hit. We take all of our canned goods out, and we take it to Subway. And Subway has a wonderful container there. We don't do it for the free cookie, because if you drop off a can, they will give you a free cookie as well. But we just do it because we know it's going to a great cause. They donate all their canned goods to Feed Our Future and Meals on Wheels. And I can tell you, sitting here, ladies and gentlemen, and listening to those two charities and being a chairman of a canteen, PTA canteen of a public school, I can't say thank you enough to Feed Our Future. Because much mornings, myself and the rest of the PTA were bothered that the numbers of kids growing that did not have breakfast and some lunch was always a concern. And so if you can, just do your best. Drop by the Subway Can Drive, one little can. They will give you a free cookie for being nice. And it will go to other people during the Christmas time as well. Remember, there are 6 locations of Subway that you can actually make this donation to, as far as East End to West Bay and everything in between. But Subway, if you want to do it 3 o'clock in the morning, you can, because they have 2 stores open 24/7, one in West Bay at Centennial Towers, the other one in Central Georgetown at Anderson Square. Subway, eat fresh, eat delicious. That is for Sammy J. Sammy J, that is just for you. A little boy I met last night at Trick or Treat, and he was like, oh my gosh, eat fresh, eat delicious. So that's for you, Sammy J.
This hour of Cayman Crosstalk is powered by Subway. Subway, with 6 locations across Cayman, you know it makes sense to choose Subway. Subway, eat fresh, eat delicious. More of Cayman.
Sometimes having a middleman is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to insurance. Do you know that when it comes to cost, ease, speed, and peace of mind, insurance brokers ranked higher than when customers buy direct? So, for all your insurance needs, call Fidelity Insurance. We're the middleman you want. Call us today at 949-7822. Fidelity. We're good for you.
This is the Volvo Ocean Race, the story of a 45-year obsession. Sailing's iconic race around the world, the ultimate test of a team, and the place where elite sport meets human adventure. With up to 10 sailors packed into 65 feet of carbon fiber for weeks on end in a race that lasts almost 9 months, it's an adventure that borders on a psychological experiment.
Mr. Shamal Clark. Yes, Shamal, they can blame you for all of this beautiful weather that we're going to get because you gave me one heck of a gorgeous forecast for everyone this morning. Today, you're going to have a high of 84. They say the real fuel temperature is going to hover around about 93 degrees. So, therefore, here's the forecast for the daylight hours. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be partly sunny and delightful. Yes, that's actually on my forecast. And the winds are going to be coming at you from the east-southeast at 10 miles per hour with an occasional gust about 16. They say that's going to translate to about 2 to 3 foot sea heights out there. So a little choppy, but just beautiful water. And nevertheless, winds are going to continue that easterly direction, dropping down to about 8 miles per hour this evening, which is going to cool your surface temperatures down to 82 degrees. But they say the heat index may indicate that it's about 87. It's going to be patchy clouds and some showers in areas, but not consistent. And you're going to have a sunrise. Your sunrise this morning was at 6:26. Sunset will be at 5:52. And so, therefore, you got 11 hours and 26 minutes of beautiful tropical sun to enjoy in the gorgeous Cayman Islands. You got a similar weather forecast straight through until Sunday morning. Oh, join me back with CPR and two fantastic ladies in the studios.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, happy Thursday to everyone, and I hope that you're having a great day, and I hope Sammy J is having a great day as well. Sammy, you made my night last night, to tell you the truth. Honestly, that he was my little superhero, even though he was dressed up like one, but he made my night. Nevertheless, if you're just joining us right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have just two individuals, but there's many, many more this morning from CPR, the People's Initiated Referendum regarding the cruise birthing facility. I got Dr. Luana Lokloy and also got Dr. Katrina Jern in the studios with us. And I'm going to pay the respect that you all do and just call you doctor. I know some of you are a little embarrassed by that, but you should never be. I'm proud of you, and I'm proud to have Caymanians be in that realm as well. And so, Dr. Luke Lloyd, we were talking right before the last break about where you believe that it's going to be changed and changed in such a manner that it will never be reversible. And the things that make us as a destination for tourists and so forth could be that determining factor that they don't come back. Because it's not unreasonable to think that people, and I'm using the words and anyone who wants to see it, and I think it's part 2 or part 1 of the 26th of September meeting. You can find it on our sister station, Cayman 27. And I believe it starts at closer towards the end when the cruise executives, after the presentation by the Honorable Deputy Premier, came in, they then introduced themselves. And the Carnival executive, whom everywhere that I went when I had the privilege and the pleasure of serving on the Port Authority Board, everyone said, this guy is sharp. And you can see that. He dominated a lot of the conversation, answered most of the questions and so forth. So that gentleman knows what he's talking about. And after all, Carnival owns over 60% of the market share. And that young man is responsible for that dominance. So he's no dummy in any capacity whatsoever. But he started off saying that their ethos and their business plan is built around snorkeling, sun, and fun. Now, that bothered me because we have the most unique reef. And people say, well, we got reefs around this whole entire island. But we don't. We don't have the same exact reefs around this island. because it's the leeward side of the island, the reef system and the reef mechanism is a lot different than you find on other parts of the Cayman Islands for many different reasons. The structure, the type of environment that is housed, and the ecosystem that is there is somewhat unique and different. The species of fish are different simply because it's in the leeward side. And the coral formations are different than you find everywhere else. It's a marine fact. And when I hear fact all the time on commercials, it bothers me because I want to see where that fact is. But what makes it even unique is that it's one of the only jurisdictions that people, tourists, can literally jump from shore to sea and snorkel. That makes it quite unique as well. So Eden Rock is one of those wonderful pieces of paradise that we take for granted. A lot of tourists don't. They keep talking about it. Cheeseburger Reef, or without our greatest respect, let's just call it Soto's Reef, out of respect for the late Bob Soto. All of those things today carry a lot of people. Heads are bobbing up and down, even around ships and so forth. People say, well, they should never be there. But that makes Cayman unique in many different capacities. So, Doctor, what do you think the priorities should be? You were talking about priority. What do you think the priority should be if this is not on the top of the list?
Thank you, Woody. That's a very good question. I was listening to you carefully just before the break, and I commend Subway for their can drive, because it is a very real. We want to talk facts. It is a fact that there are people in Cayman that are in need, genuinely in need, and in need of basic necessities such as food. Charities such as Feed Our Future are doing a fantastic job. The government is also having to assist many people with the basic necessity of food. So in the fiscal year 2016 to 2017, the Needs Assessment Unit assisted 1,109 families with food vouchers.
Wow. Yeah.
I was actually quite surprised by that statistic. In the same fiscal year of 2016 to 2017, the Needs Assessment Unit assisted 328 children with free school lunches. These are basic necessities. In my opinion, this kind of thing should be the priority, I believe, for the government. We already have a thriving cruise tourism industry. Dr. Jernan can maybe tell us about the statistics. Our cruise tourism industry has been growing. Yes, I understand that over the last year that has been artificially inflated because of the effects of the hurricanes on the Eastern Caribbean. But we have a thriving cruise tourism industry, which we've built over decades without having up here, without having a cruise berthing facility. One of the things that I'm also concerned about is the effect of over-tourism. It's still fairly unclear to me whether the priority is to accommodate megaships or whether the priority is to increase numbers. In the interview between Honorable Moses Kirkconnell and Barry Quappe maybe about a week ago, she asked this direct question, and I would say that it was avoided. There was no clear answer because he spoke about growing the cruise tourism industry. If we're already doing so well, and then we start growing the cruise tourism industry, at what level are we going to, are we going to ever cap off the numbers of cruise tourists? What about overcrowding in our capital? It's already a nightmare trying to drive through Georgetown during the day. What about overcrowding of our attractions? Are we going to make it an unpleasant place for visitors that they wouldn't want to return? Because at the moment, 12% of visitors that arrive on cruise ships return as stayover visitors. But if they have a negative experience during their visit due to overcrowding, not being able to get a tour because they haven't pre-booked one, not being able to get a table in a restaurant because they're competing with thousands of other visitors, not being able to get to hold a stingray because there are too many boats at Stingray City, not being able to hold a baby turtle, which is what they were really looking forward to, because there are just too many people at the turtle farm at the same time. That's going to cause a negative effect. They're going to have a negative memory of Grand Cayman if it was this place that they were very much looking forward to visiting, and then when they got there, it didn't quite live up to the expectations. So they perhaps will not return as stayover visitors. And although 80% of our tourism in numbers is from cruise tourism, it's about 75% of the revenue from tourism that comes from stayover visitors. So if we're crowding out our stayover visitors, then we're going to be losing a big chunk of the revenue. In fact, it was just recently at the Department of Tourism's conference that the guest speaker actually alluded to this. You know, she spoke about quality over quantity and the need to preserve your product, not overcrowding stayover tourists and not overcrowding residents as well, because we count in this equation, the people that live here, Caymanians. You know, life is going to change for every single one of us. At the moment, as I said, you can't drive through Georgetown on a busy cruise ship day. You know, there's talk of revitalization of Georgetown and various things. I understand that that's going to involve perhaps changing the flow of traffic in certain ways, and I congratulate Mr. Colin Lumsden on his appointment. But one can't help but feel that all of this is very reactive rather than proactive. In my opinion, I think we should be putting the infrastructure in place before we take the step of building this structure that's going to definitely change the face, the look, everything about Georgetown. It's going to change everything about Georgetown.
You know, I have to ask you, good doctor. I mean, when we're looking at the facts of the matter, and you hear, you know, the commercials saying that, in fact, we got 4,000 people that depend on cruise tourism. And then you listen to the numbers that the doctor put down, which I can guarantee you, doctor, that's 2016, 2017, that's going to increase because they had a supplemental meeting just this year to increase it to $8 million more. So that number has increased. So the number is compounding, and that's not a good thing by any stretch of the imagination. But good doctor, I got to ask you, and it said, you know, and also the facts that are coming out saying that we're going to lose cruise tourism by 40%. Now, what do you say to that?
Woody, I believe that the facts that we have, all the statistics that we have about the history of our cruise tourism industry, the last 10 years, for example, we've actually had 14% growth from 2009 to 2017. That's steady growth over the years. So, and available data for 2018 and the upcoming busy season, it looks that we are set to have continued growth again in the year ahead. And also, you did mention reference back to the Carnival Cruise Line, his comments at the public meeting where he assured Cayman that we were not in any danger of losing our cruise tourism industry. It's for them, it's more a matter of the few mega ships that they have, the Oasis class ships that they would like to bring here. And again, this is a very small number of the total number of cruise ships that are now in the Caribbean. And also, for the future of the industry, there are more mega ships being built. But again, this is just a small percentage of the total number of new ships being built. So I think, I think it's vitally important that we maintain and support our cruise tourism industry along with our stayover tourism industry, and that we strike, a careful balance between the two so that they will positively continue to grow instead of harming each other through overcrowding. It is vitally important that we ensure Caymanians continue to have opportunities in both cruise and stayover tourism sectors. What I have been able to find from available data is that 5,400 Caymanians work in tourism characteristic industries, and that's like wide range. That's stayover, hotels, mobile food, restaurants, transport, storage and arts, entertainment, and recreation. So that number, 5,400 Caymanians working in tourism characteristic industries, is cruise tourism, stay over tourism, and those businesses also to some degree cater to residents. So it is definitely extremely important that we maintain these jobs and continue to create opportunities for young Caymanians coming through. However, there's another 5,000 plus individuals in the industry who are work permit holders, which there will always be some room for work permit holders in our tourism industry. However, I think it's crucial that we invest in education and training of our young Caymanians so that they are able to take up these opportunities that now people from other countries are coming to take advantage of. So, the notion that we need to create more jobs, I think, is a false one. What we need to do is to equip our young Caymanians to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that are now here, that other people from other countries are better equipped to take advantage of. But again, just wanting to come back to the petition for a moment. The petition is, encouraging the government to provide the citizens of the Cayman Islands with all relevant data. There's now so many questions that are unanswered, as Dr. Lukloy was referring to. We're not sure if the model is actually to increase numbers or to maintain numbers. And there are many unanswered questions, including the cost of the project. The environmental impact assessment needs to be updated. The design has changed since the 2015 environmental impact assessment, including very significantly now including a cargo expansion component with increased dredging in the south of the harbor, as far as we can tell from the drawings that were released at the public meeting. And all of this information needs to be provided to the public. And we are simply asking for the government to share this information and allow Caymanians to have a say in this major decision. Again, the petition is not for or against, it's just for us to have a say via referendum through Section 70 of the Constitution for people-initiated referendum. And I just encourage everybody, I know there's so many people have concerns about this issue, and I just encourage everyone, if you have not yet signed the petition, please do. We're in a number of different locations, Hurley's. The petition is available at Four Winds Esso in West Bay. It is available at Pure Art and Kathy Church on South Church Street. It's available at Bliss Yoga. It's available at the Savannah Rubis gas station. And we'll also be at Liquor for Less by the airport Fosters on this Saturday. So I would just encourage everybody who does want to sign and who is concerned to get involved, and also we will bring the petition to you if you are not able to get out to any of those locations.
Numbers again that people would like to contact you if they can't get out and they would like you to bring it to maybe their office or to their home or to wherever it is. Do you have a number that they can contact?
They can call 938-5876.
All right. I got to ask you ladies this question. People will say, well, we hired, or we in essence went through a job interview, so to speak, and we hired these MLAs. And these MLAs now represent our interest, and they should be given the right to continue to do what they want to do because we gave them that job for at least a 4-year contract. What do you say to that, why are you disrupting the flow of these MLAs? I mean, that's in the words, really in essence, I'm paraphrasing, not word for word, but that's in essence what the Premier of the Cayman Islands is saying. And he said it on multiple occasions as well, is that you all are thwarting the works of these people. And if you just don't get it done now, it will never be done before or ever again, or at least not in his administration, which I think the last phrasing of it, he's correct, because this has been going on from 2007. Right. And the same thing has been talked about that, we're going to be dropping by 40%. We're going to be doing all of this. We're going to be losing all of these things and will not come back to the table again. But here we are some 10 plus years later, and we're actually in a growth period, and it's not inflated, doctor. And I say this with the greatest of respect, because the highest numbers came 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, before the hurricanes devastated the Eastern Caribbean and that route as well. I just want to let you know, that is some of the stats that not are being shared by most people.
Okay. Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. You mentioned that this has been on the cards for what, over 10 years?
At least over 10 years. Since 2006, it has been talked about. You got to remember, and even then, the PPM wanted to move it from where it's at down to where we all know by Mr. Bodden, 7-Eleven. I call it 7-Eleven. I know they're probably going to sue me for that. Mr. Arthur's shop and Burger King, it was supposed to be put in that immediate area. Atlantic Star, where's that developer today? I wonder if we can answer those kind of questions. Maybe the Chief Justice can come on the show and talk to us about his landmark decision of that particular developer as well. How wonderful that decision would have been.
Well, you're right. I mean, this has been in the pipeline for a very long time. And I think we have to ask ourselves the question, why has this been in the pipeline for a very long time? If this were something that the government had the support of the majority of the Caymanian people on this project, I think it would have been completed by now. But there has always been some form of opposition. There have always been questions that couldn't be answered. The government, the coalition government, I can't say truly has a mandate. The only way to really have a mandate of the people is to hold a referendum, in my opinion. That is our right. We live in a democratic society. It's not something that should be feared. If the government is confident that this is what is best for Cayman and that the majority of the electorate are in agreement with them, then a referendum is nothing to be feared. But it is an opportunity to allow your people to exercise their democratic right. And if it comes to a referendum and more than 50% of the electorate vote yes, then the government can say, we have a mandate to build this cruise berthing facility as proposed for the Georgetown Harbor. But as Dr. Jern rightly said, there are still some questions that have not been answered. And I was at the public meeting at the Family Life Center. I understand that the government is under procurement, or that the matter is under procurement, so they can't share certain information with us. However, I don't really think that we've been given a timeline as to when that is going to be shared. You know, when will the final bidder be selected? When will the environmental impact assessment be updated? When will PwC present their final business case? Is that going to be put back to a public consultation, or is that going to go straight to the cabinet for a decision? You know, it would be great to have a timeline on when all of these things are going to happen. At the moment, we have many unanswered questions. There are certain studies that were not done as a part of the initial environmental impact assessment, geotechnical studies. These studies are imperative to accurate costing of the project. The model that's in place is a design, finance, build, maintain. If the design hasn't been actually finalized, we don't have a final costing on this project. The figure of 200 million has been mentioned. That does not include the interest. You know, it's going to be paid for over the course of 25 years. You have a house. I'm sure you have a mortgage. At the end of your 30-year mortgage, how many times have you paid for your house in reality? 2, 3? How much is it actually going to cost the people of the Cayman Islands at the end of the day? I'm fairly certain that it's going to be more than $200 million.
Well, you know, I got to read something, and there's an email that came through. Like I said, it came through October 30th at 7:16 p.m. It's from Miss Ruth Bodden, and she says, today there were 5 cruise ships in port. I made $25 US. I'm at the craft market, and I've been so for 12 years. My best customers are the stayover clients. I've been against the port from the very first time I saw the pictures. There's too many unanswered questions. And then some niceties that she said about the show and so forth, but I'll leave that. But those are some of the sentiments, and she's concerned that a lot of people aren't looking at the big picture. to your point as well, in that there's more, when you have more quality over quantity, you'll actually, everybody at the end, in her mind, will win. And I submit, good doctor, and you and I hold the same opinion. I believe before things like this happen, we need to create a growth management strategy for the whole entire Cayman Islands, which is going to take in consideration all of these things that are there. Here's some messages that came through as well. It says, good morning. Hiring of MLAs. The shifting positions remember from prospect alone refutes the CIG claims of a mandate. When it comes, the port referendum will be tantamount or even more important than a general election. When the current ministers and political parties have gone away, the proposed port shall remain. This is a matter of a national concern. Let us, the people, have our say. And, when you have in caps, that means they're shouting. So, yes, that is just some of the things there. I just want to sincerely thank you, ladies, for coming in and dropping some facts. I like when facts are dropped instead of hyperbole and everything else. But for your hearing, good doctor, I've asked Dr. Jern her opinion before, but I want to get your opinion on this because I try to research as much as possible and everything I say, because it's an open segment. You're going to hear the legal come up very shortly. What I say here is subject to lawsuits. And believe me, people love to sue in this island, especially the powers that be, or try to hurt you somewhere down the line. So I'm very cognizant of what I say and how I say it, and resource it all the time and cite where it's found. But I want to play something for you, and I want your opinion. And this is from the Carnival executive that we mentioned earlier. And I will never, maybe I'm reading into it, but you can find this, ladies and gentlemen, as a resource for all of you that's listening. Part 2 of the Cayman 27 recording of the 26th of September meeting at the Family Life Center on or about minute 56.32 seconds. To be exact, if you want to start it off from there, you all can go and look at it and you can see what was said before and even after as well. But that's when I got up, I waited because I could not stand the bovine scatology that was being expressed. Where did they put this one now? Did they move it? They moved it. I'm sorry. Oh.
That's okay. While you're trying to find that video, I find that email that the lady sent in quite interesting, because there was a gentleman at the Georgetown Town Hall meeting that echoed similar sentiments. I believe he was a taxi driver, and he said that he only made about $30 on a day that was actually fairly busy with cruise ships. And I was shocked and saddened by that, actually. And I've heard similar, well, not similar sentiments as well, but in our petitioning, I actually had an interesting discussion with somebody who has a contract with one of the cruise lines, a tour operator. And I was shocked to learn that he was actually being paid the same thing that today that he was actually being paid 10 years ago. So despite the increase in the cost of doing business, paying his employees, etc., pension, health insurance, the cost of fuel has gone up over that 10-year period, but he has not been allowed to increase his prices because the cruise lines will not pay any more than what they were paying previously. And he was quite very much of the opinion that the government should intervene and introduce some sort of minimum pricing on behalf of the tour operators, just to guarantee a certain income for them. And apparently the cruise lines there's a 1 month period where they can actually terminate the contract as well. So there's no guarantee either. So I'm not entirely sure how, and I believe somebody stood up at the Family Life meeting as well, Mr. Morales, I believe, and said something similar. In terms of protecting the taxis and the tour operators.
Yes, we've heard from a lot of people, of individuals who are working in the tourism industry, including the cruise tourism industry, a lot of them are also, very concerned about the impact that the cruise pier will have, and a lot of them actually think that it will have a negative impact on their livelihood, from all the different scenarios that may unfold, and many do feel that the government would be better off as Caymanians working in the cruise tourism industry if the government would negotiate on their behalf. There's a lot that we can do to strengthen our cruise tourism industry, to improve the experience, to ensure that Caymanians who are working in the industry are truly benefiting, without building the cruise pier. I mean, I think that certainly that there's no room for complacency, with our cruise tourism industry, but there is a lot that can be done and the government can do on our behalf in order to ensure that the industry is strengthened, that individuals are protected, and actually will be better off in a better position. But again, I think that the crucial point is that we are asking the government for all of this information to answer the unanswered questions before they commit the country to moving forward with this extremely expensive project that we will be paying off for at least the next 25 years. And it is our basic democratic constitutional right to all, as citizens of this country, have a say in matters of national importance. Now, when there is sufficient public support behind a decision that the government is taking, obviously the issue doesn't need to go to a referendum. However, issues where there is significant concern from the public about a matter of this degree of significance, we're simply asking to give Caymanians a say in this issue and to consider our feedback and our thoughts. Hold a referendum and find out what the majority of Caymanians think, because this is something that we do not presently know. And we're just encouraging everybody who is out there, who's listening, who has considered signing the petition but maybe has not done so yet. Your voice counts. Every voice counts. And we encourage you to sign the petition. Again, we will bring it to you if you can't make it to one of the locations that we are at. And yeah, I think this is our basic democratic right, to have a say in matters of national importance.
Wonderful. And before we leave, I just want to let you know on our Facebook page, our wonderful friend over from Bermuda, MP, Thomas Christopher Famous, MP Famous. He was on the show, and I enjoyed meeting with him when he was down earlier part of this year. He says, democracy in action. Blessings from Bermuda. And so we want to sincerely thank you, Mr. Famous, for tuning in this morning. And I admire him greatly. In fact, we've grown to have a wonderful relationship online. But ladies, I want to sincerely thank you for coming in this morning. And good doctor, I just want to say to you, and I said it to Dr. Jern as well, but to you, Dr. Lucloy, you touched on it. There's a lot of people in this island that is fearful of the vindictive nature. I only know it too well. I live it, and I've been living it. But many people know it as well, and hence the reason why they're apprehensive to even utter a word or even sign their name to a petition. And to that end, I just want to say to you, thank you for being a bold, brave lady and put your reputation and your name at stake, because I can tell you, and I can prove it, that the powers that be, when they want to hurt you, and they will do so, and they like to do so economically, and for you two ladies, good doctors, to be bold enough to put your face next to your name, I'm very proud of you. Whatever that means to both of you, but to me, as a Caymanian, I just want to say thank you, and I'm very, very proud of you for being so bold and brave. Godspeed, you ladies. All right, coming up, we're going to have in the studios MLA Kenneth Bryan to continue Thunderous Thursday.
More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27 is next.
Does this sound like...
We're on a mission to reinvent the way we look at sport. En route, we'll be meeting the biggest names and the brightest stars, looking to pinpoint the precision of success.
We're all born with some degree of athleticism. As you get to that top of the pyramid, it's the very small things that make the difference.
Work hard, to stay focused, to get it done.
I know everything I did it for a reason.
You have to be a little bit insane, I think.
From happy beginnings and life choices that we make along the way,
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
health insurance with far-reaching benefits,
Family protection and long-term financial plans.
business insurance, and generous employee benefits.
For happy beginnings to happy ever after, visit BritK.ky.
BritK, where people come first.
I'm John Barry, and this is Songs and Stories. I believe in every song there's a story waiting to be told, and in every story there's a song waiting to be sung. Each week I'll have a friend stop by who will share great songs and personal stories in a unique setting that have been part of their life and career. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
It's time to celebrate. Join family and friends as we honor UCCI's graduating class of 2018. EY is proud to be the exclusive television broadcast sponsor of the University College of the Cayman Islands graduation ceremony. Tune in to Cayman 27 Thursday, November 1st at 7 p.m. Let's celebrate our graduates and their new beginnings. Live on Cayman 27 Thursday, November 1st at 7 p.m. EY, proud telecast sponsor, committed to giving back to the community and recognizing talent.
Champion House Restaurant, serving Cayman for over 30 years. Start your day off right with our breakfast, fruits, pastries, hot cereals, entree, and so much more. Stop by for lunch. Our buffet offers salads, soup, entrees, and desserts. Check out our website for details on our new dinner menu. And don't forget about catering. We can customize any menu to suit your needs. Champion House Restaurant, where the islanders dine.
The flavor with a beat. Black thing now move up him dancing feet. We dance them flavor with a beat. Whole heap of sauce, yeah, we acting on the street. Young middle age or old, move your feet. When bass if we dance, everybody have to do it.
Grace, feel the vibe, can't you feel it? Grace, delicious, so nutritious. Yes, quality when you taste it. Want affordable, look for the label.
Flavor we are flavor because the spice is flaring. Flavor with a beat, no other brand than the near way.
One taste and you know Grace is real.
Watch as global adventurer and filmmaker Marlon Dara journeys across the world's most beautiful countries and cities. You'll explore breathtaking landmarks, art, and architecture from the Caribbean, Europe, Central and South America, and so much more. Immerse yourself in the local culture, history, and beauty as you follow his endless journeys of adventure every weekday, only on Cayman 27.
A
violent altercation snarls traffic. What's up, everyone? I'm Doug Dodds. Here's today's top stories from the Cayman 27 newsroom. One man remains in hospital after a violent altercation in Georgetown. According to police, several men were involved in a confrontation Tuesday evening when one man, armed with a machete, lacerated the victim's head. Now, the wounded man then fled but was later hit by a car. Police say 46-year-old suspect is in custody in connection with the incident. In other news today marks the open season on conch and whelks. The Department of Environment limits for conch are 5 per person or 10 per boat per day, whichever is less. For whelk, the daily limits are 2.5 gallons in the shell or half of a 5-gallon bucket or 2.5 pounds clean. Finally today, more than 23,600 invasive green iguanas have been killed and counted so far in this year's cull. More than 9,800 green iguanas were delivered to the landfill on Tuesday, some 4,000 fewer than the cull's opening day tally of more than 13,800. For more news on these stories and others, click on Cayman27.ky or watch the news tonight at 6 with a replay at 7. For Hurley's Media, I'm Doug Dodds. Have a great day.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all very much for tuning in. Let us be part of your morning and part of your day. I tell you the truth, we're having a little snafu this morning. There were a lot of people wanting to come on the show and being here, and I'm glad Kenneth Bryan has allowed, and I guess it is, but I just want to say a very special good morning to Mrs. Ida Mae Bodden. Mrs. Ida Mae, I just got to tell you, you are like, I don't know where you find the energy, but I find you everywhere, and you're involved so much. You're such a wonderful community member. I mean, you everywhere. I want to say a very special good morning to you again to the studio.
Thank you so much, and thanks for Kenneth for giving me a few minutes of his time this morning. And it's wonderful to be here. And I want to say a big shout out to everybody in the Cayman Islands, that they would have a wonderful day this first day of November.
Amen to that one. And you know the good thing with it, Mrs. Ida Mae, our home district, right? I know I'm going to take some flack for this one, but our home district makes some of the best food, if not the best. And conch and whelk season just started today. And we're going to be talking a little bit about West Bay Heritage as well, because the Heritage Days are back. And I'm looking at the schedule here. You know, we're looking, when is the Heritage Days?
Tomorrow is East End Day, which is the 2nd of November. And then on Monday, it is West Bay Day.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. West Bay. And tell us a little bit about what we're going to anticipate at West Bay Heritage Day.
West Bay has so much to offer to our visitors and our residents of West Bay and the whole Cayman Islands. So we want everybody to come down. You know, we have all the ladies that are going to be doing the thatch work. They're going to be doing demonstrations and showing, you know, adults and children how they plait the thatch. And then they also have their baskets and hats and everything on sale. So if you're in tune with our culture and our heritage and you want to get something to wear while you're here or take overseas, you just check them out. Mr. Billy and his crew will be doing the rope making, you know, taking us back into the history when rope was a big part of our survival.
Well, you know, I got a cord of rope from Mr. Billy, and that is permanently and prominently placed in my home so that everybody walks in, they can see the thatch rope, a whole cord of it.
It played such a vital and important role in our Cayman history. We're going to have, we're supposed to have some little calves and some little baby goats and everything. So we're planning to have a petting zoo so the children can pet the animals. We're going to have some of the ladies there that will be able to tell us some about our history and going back into our West Bay dictionary and telling you how things used to be said.
Oh, I like
and,
it.
You know,
you're gonna have that for sale, I hope.
No.
Because a couple of years ago, I still got my West Bay dictionary in it.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but they're going to have
like
theirs there
Tippertons.
to because a lot of the schools bus their children in. So we want to give them some of our heritage. Then we have, West Bay's Got Talent. So the children will be singing, dancing, saying poems. Some maybe do instrumentals, anything like that. We're going to have the baby show. So if people are interested in entering their babies, just contact me, 929-9932. We're going to have the old kitchen set up with the caboose and everything, and may have somebody in there frying some fritters in there to show you how the caboose was used. We have Mr. Kim and Jairus and the guys from the Cayman Catboat Club is going to be there with the Cayman Catboat to tell you all about the catboat history and, for the children to be able to look inside and, just be there with the catboat. The catboat played such a vital and important role in our history.
You're going to have a looking glass as well, too?
Well, I'm quite sure Mr. Kim can come up with that, too.
All right, good.
We're gonna be doing a lot of things. And Cayman Airways is going to be there giving away some of their stuff to mark their 50th anniversary.
Brilliant.
Saxon Insurance is going to be there giving away some things. Then, it's like you said, the great food. We're going to have other displays showcasing a lot of the prominent people of West Bay. Then we're going to have Deal there doing his gigs and helping out with the rope making, children activities. This year we're celebrating 60 years for the coat of arms. So we're going to have some activities there for the children to do. It is just so much, that is going to be going on and happening. That there just gives you a snapshot of some of the things that we had in 2016, where we had lots of activities going on. They couldn't all fit on a page, so I just gave sort of a snapshot of what was taking place on, because, last year we did a combined day in Georgetown, but we're back into the districts now, and we are going to have ours at the West Bay Park, which is between the Scholars Park and Aid Bush Field. So if you're on that Birch Tree Hill Road, right there it's not Central West Bay, but it is in the heart of West Bay.
Right, absolutely.
Birch Tree Hill is, they're kind of borderline between Boson Bay and Mount Pleasant. So it borders us right there.
It's right in the heart.
Right in the heart of West Bay. So it's so much that is going on in West Bay. And I want to just encourage everybody to come out and celebrate. It is so good on our days when we see the elderly people come and sit down, and they sit down and they talk and they reminisce on their olden days. Sometimes they don't get to see each other for years, and, until they come to the district days, and you just sit there and enjoy the day. So that is very heartening to me when I see the elderly people sitting down and chatting, and, children can sometimes go and ask them questions because the schools let them bring their books. And when they have questions, sometimes they run up to the older person and ask them the question so they can get the answer. So it is so good to always display our heritage and or put our heritage on display for everyone to see. And, it just brings you back into that. And we're going to have Super Seed DJ there all day, with his music. And we're going to have so much fun, laughter, and, it's an educational experience for the children.
And you're forgetting food.
I said that. Great food.
Yeah, the food.
The corn turtle. Turtle meat.
Don't tease me with that, Mrs. Eating. I went West Bay and I didn't get my corn turtle.
But we're going to have it again on Monday. Yes, the same person has booked for Monday.
Wendy, I need my corn turtle. I'm coming again.
Yes, so she's going to have corn turtle again on Monday. She's booked her space. So, just come down to West Bay, enjoy the day, take an extra lunch hour to be with us, and then come in the evening. And I just want to say that so many of the children were asking, when we spoke to them, are we going to have fireworks? Well, it takes money to do everything. We've gotten the grounds all ready and prepared, and we're going to have so many different things. We're working on the float for the float parade. So if anybody's interested in coming and being a part of the float parade, which will be next Saturday, the 10th, just check me out, and we can find something for you to do. But the fireworks, it's about $1,000, and I'm asking a sponsor to come on board and sponsor that.
Excellent.
And because we're printing a program, we want to make sure that we acknowledge everyone who has helped and contributed. So please call me today and tell me that you would sponsor our fireworks, only $1,000, and your name will be printed, and you'll get publicity from this event.
And you can call Mrs. Edame, and her number is 929-9932. That is 929-9932. Mrs. Edame, and the best part about it is the admission is absolutely free. And we got some callers on the line. Let's just see if they're still there as well. Hello, caller. How are you this morning? Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Very good morning to you.
Yes, I just got a little thing saying West Bay's Day will be on Monday, which is good. First of all, when does it start? How long does it go on?
The gates open at 10, and we finish at 8 with the fireworks.
Okay, the second question, and even more important, I just heard that on the menu will be corn turtle.
Leave that alone. That's mine. Leave that alone, Miss Alice May. You're not going near there.
Well, listen, let me tell you something, but I'm a child. You're not only one know about corn turtle, Anyway, what else will be on the menu? Any idea?
Oh, yeah. We're going to have conch, turtle.
Wilkes.
Wilkes
season started today, Miss Alice May.
Yeah. Anything
right,
we're going to have seafood, and then, the Cayman style beef and jerk chicken, barbecue chicken, desserts,
like
sweet treats.
And
okay, that's what I was going to get to. You needed a dessert after these corn turtle and things like that.
Well,
so you have a dessert booth as well?
Well, some of the people who are selling food are going to also be doing it, and I know Miss Marcy Ann Hydes, she is going to be having her banana bread and macaroni pudding and stuff there also.
Some good cassava cake.
Yeah.
Some cream.
So if you
cake.
want, I like your little cassava cakes in the cupcake holders. That would be perfect. I mean, just a good sized bite.
Hint, 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 hint. You better go and get a cassava now.
Go get your cassava and have some ready for Monday.
Yeah, I'll see if I can work that into my humongous pack schedule. All right. You never know, right? Fingers crossed. But I won't promise, because I always keep my promises, and I'll see what I can do with that. All right. Okay,
thank you so much.
Good. Take care. Bless. See you all.
Thank you.
Don't let Woody get all the corn turtle. Okay. Right.
And we got another caller online. Good morning, caller. How are you? Hello? Or it didn't hold on. And Mrs. Edame, one more time. When, where, and, you know.
West Bay Heritage Day is this coming Monday, the 5th of November. And it is located in our Heritage Park, which is between the Scholars Park and Aid Bush Stadium. And it's right there on Birch Tree Hill Road in West Bay. And the gates open at 10, with the official opening being at 11. So, people can come in and mingle around from 10 o'clock. Admission is free. So we want everybody to come down. And we're especially inviting all the seniors to come out and, just be able to sit down, relax, and reminisce.
Wonderful.
And all the school children. All schools, if you're listening this morning, just remember, I sent out an email to all the schools, and this is your special invitation to bring your children for a learning experience down at the West Bay Heritage Day on Monday.
Excellent. And I hope that all the schools take it up, to be honest with you. And school kids love little field trips. You couldn't find a better field trip. And I just got to say to you, Mrs. Edame, and your whole entire committee, the park is the prettiest, to be honest with you, that I've ever seen it. The grass was so green, I thought you spray painted it green on Saturday. It was absolutely fantastic. It was beautiful. And I can say to everyone down here, if you want a really great place to go, West Bay is it, to be honest with you. And here's the reason why. Not just because that's where my heart is, but as Miss Izidame said, right across the street is a beautiful park, the Scholars Park. And so families with small toddlers and so forth and younger kids, that if you want them to do a little bit more activities and so forth, you can just mosey on across the street, have a wonderful park right there. It has all the facilities that you need. Come right back over, and you got everything that you want. If you want to sit down and eat your food, they got places to sit and eat there. But if you want to go and eat your food and watch your children play on the monkey bars and all of the great things that are at Scholars Park, you have all of that available to you in West Bay. And the best part about it is free.
And it's a one-stop shop.
That's right.
So
Only
come
one
down
thing.
to West Bay on Monday. Enjoy your day. We would love to have each and every one of you there. And it promises to be a good day. And just come and enjoy.
I got to ask you, though, being from Bursary Hill and everything still, can you drop a couple of little, I know you've been refined and all that kind of stuff, but I know it's still trickling through your veins, your weens.
That's right.
Give me a couple of West Bay phrases, if you don't mind.
Well, we say, look here. Well, what does that say? It says, look here. Or you can say, I going down there. That means I am going over there.
Oh, yeah. I hear ya. Look, you know.
That's right. Yeah, we have our own dictionary there in West Bay. And we're going to be sharing some of the words and the phrases with the school children. And we just want you all to come to West Bay and enjoy your day on Monday. And like we said, it's absolutely free admission. So just bring some money to get some good food. Participate in all the other activities. We're going to have the guy there with the shaved ice, you know, similar to the snow cone, but they've refined it, and it's
Simon.
So much good, Simon.
Yeah. Simon has like 8 flavors, ladies and gentlemen. Once you get the shaved ice, you can go right around the whole entire thing, from grapes, passion fruit, mango, all of them around. So
yeah,
it's a great deal.
Yeah, so we just want everybody to come. And like I said, if you're interested in putting your baby in the baby show, or your children want to do any of the talent shows, I think Deal is going to also do a conch shell blowing competition too.
All right,
so
Deal.
We're going to have a wonderful day in West Bay. And like I said, if you're up to sponsoring, call me 929-9932. And we need a sponsor for fireworks of CI $1,000. So give me a call. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, Mrs. Idame. And then coming up, if he's still here, MLA Kenneth Bryan. And I just want to say, you know, we got a Speaker of the House that uses a lot of phraseology, a lot of time from West Bay. And the one that I like hearing him say, I don't hear quite hey from you.
Yeah, so stay tuned to Hurley's Media Crosstalk with Woody.
Ooh, I got to write that one down. Thank you, Mrs. Idame.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful day.
More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27 is next.
Does this?
Caymanian owned and operated since 1967. Paramount Carpets is a full-service operation beginning with material selection to the installation of finished products, as well as providing maintenance, service, and takes great pride in the quality of their work, making every effort to exceed customer expectations. Contact us today at 345-949-5000 or visit us at 317 Industrial Park, North Sound Road. Paramount Carpets. We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor.
Sometimes having a middleman is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to insurance. Do you know that when it comes to cost, ease, speed, and peace of mind, insurance brokers ranked higher than when customers buy direct? So, for all your insurance needs, call Fidelity Insurance. We're the middleman you want. Call us today at 949-7822. Fidelity. We're good for you.
Hi, I'm Caroline
Caroline Hobby, host of Nashville Insider, where we bring you the latest in country music news and happenings. Join us as we interview your favorite artists and go behind the scenes of country music's hottest events. Watch Nashville Insider right here on Cayman 27.
This week on Nashville Insider, find out which of your favorite artists are nominated for the 52nd Annual CMA Awards. Then, Dan and Shay toast to their latest #1 hit, Tequila, and give a big thanks to fans. We chat with the stars of Beautifully Broken. They're on the red carpet for the film's big premiere. And does this face look familiar? We'll talk to funny man Cletus T. Judd as he makes his country music comeback.
233-1019 or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
The opinions expressed by Cayman Crosstalk, its hosts, callers, or guests are not those of Hurley's Media or its sponsors.
Here are your latest news headlines from the Cayman 27 news team on Rooster 101's Cayman Crosstalk. Now, here's the news. A violent altercation snarls traffic. What's up, everyone? I'm Doug Dodds. Here's today's top stories from the Cayman 27 newsroom. One man remains in hospital after a violent altercation in Georgetown. According to police, several men were involved in a confrontation Tuesday evening when one man, armed with a machete, lacerated the victim's head. Now, the wounded man then fled but was later hit by a car. Police say 46-year-old suspect is in custody in connection with the incident. In other news today marks the open season on conch and whelks. The Department of Environment limits for conch are 5 per person or 10 per boat per day, whichever is less. For whelk, the daily limits are 2.5 gallons in the shell or half of a 5-gallon bucket or 2.5 pounds clean. Finally today, more than 23,600 invasive green iguanas have been killed and counted so far in this year's cull. More than 9,800 green iguanas were delivered to the landfill on Tuesday, some 4,000 fewer than the cull's opening day tally of more than 13,800. For more news on these stories and others, click on Cayman27.ky or watch the news tonight at 6 with a replay at 7. For Hurley's Media, I'm Doug Dodds. Have a great day.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Thursday to all of you, and I hope that you're having a wonderful day. And I just want to say to the Thunderous Thursday, MLA, thank you for giving your time again, not only to your constituents, but to everybody, even the West Bay, because you just want to make sure that everybody, sir, is well serviced during your time that's there. And as you said when you first started, and I'll never forget this, MLA Brian, you and I served together, and there's no secret that you and I have a fond relationship, and we were in the trenches together and also on the show together. But I just want to say, and I remember one of the things that you said when you first got elected. You said, and you correct me where I go wrong, I can go back, but you know my memory is fairly decent. You said when you first got on, you said, I want to sincerely thank the people from Central Georgetown for giving me this privilege of serving them. But I not only serve the people of Central Georgetown, I serve every person in all 3 Cayman Islands.
That's 100% correct, Woody. I couldn't say it any better than myself. And I think that's an approach that every elected member should take. It's just the constituency that ones that have the honor to select you or to give you the opportunity, but you represent every single soul in these three Cayman Islands. So thank you for the opening. We don't have much time today. I wanted to speak about some rather important topics, but with only 1 hour left of the show, I'm going to stick to some things that I can get done quickly, and then move into the bigger topics next week, Thursday. So from now, I'm going to tell you some of the things I'm going to speak about. One, some of the questions that I have coming before the House, the fact that I met with the governor yesterday, some of my questions that I've proposed, the Speaker of the House has decided to not allow them, and not that it's going to create any controversy, because I do agree with the questions not being allowed under the standing orders, but I'll explain more about that, and potentially dab into the gambling law. That was the one I wanted to speak about today, because because it's so complicated and it needs enough time for it to be fully understood.
I think you can do it in an hour.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't be able to get anything else done. But also I know that much of the listenership starts to decrease at 9, and I don't want to have to repeat this again next week Thursday. So unless you're willing to go over the topic all over again on next week Thursday,
I think it's an important topic, because I had four shows on the whole entire thing, the hypocrisy that is the Cayman Islands.
Yes.
I've had 4 shows on it, so I don't mind talking about it again, because
all right, well,
it needs to.
If that's the case, then let's just.
But I leave the ball in your court. You are the elected official. You set your agenda, and you just said, Mr. Speaker. And I said, I recognize the member from Central Georgetown.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to give contribution to this upcoming bill in the second sitting of the House of the year 2018-2019.
Speaker recognizes member.
But let me quickly just get these 2 questions out of the way. You know that previously I announced that I had 2 questions to the Attorney General to give answer to whether or not is there any constitutional violations by having one law that allows public service persons pension being able to be withdrawn, but sorry, let me rephrase that. Stop. The question was to the Attorney General to whether or not there's any unconstitutional fairness being violated by the fact that persons who work for the civil service are not allowed to withdraw from their pensions to buy a home or buy a piece of property or to pay off their homes, but members of the public are allowed to do that. I think there could be some grounds for challenge in that respect, and I wanted his opinion, but the standing orders say I cannot ask for legal opinion of the Attorney General through the Parliament. But I've had discussions with him, and I agree with the Speaker. That's what the standing orders say, and we have to follow the rules. But I've spoken to the Attorney General, and he's given me his assurances that he is happy to respond through email if I send a request to him. So I'll formally send those questions via request to his office to see what his interpretation is on those concerns. But the public won't have the pleasure of having that in the Hansards or heard through the Legislative Assembly. I would have to come back and report to you exactly what his view is on that. And there was a second question that I asked. The second question for the Attorney General was that, in his opinion of the Constitution, is it of his view that the members of the elected Legislative Assembly have the authority to mandate the civil service to put Caymanians in head posts in the country? And the reason why I asked that, you've heard Dr. Steve McField suggest here on the radio that that's the case.
Section 16 of the Constitution.
And I agree. But the government seems to disagree with that position. They have said, they don't have any authority over the hiring and firing. And remember that's one of the reasons why they voted down my bill. My motion that I suggested to have the chief immigration officer and the chief fire officer to be a Caymanian. So I want to
Government creates policy.
Well, what context is that to this?
Government creates policy in everything.
Okay, so
if they wanted, they can say to their chief officers, listen, this government, because of Section 16 allows us to approve anyone who enters into this island and whomever takes whatever job that we want, we're going to be discriminatory. And this government is going to make certain that our policy is, chief officer, that whomever you hire and advertise within the post of a deputy chief officer, managing director, whomever it may be, you're going to, or even governor, deputy governor, is going to be a Caymanian and a Caymanian only.
Well, I agree with that. I agree that they have the authority to do that, but they seem to think or want to imply that they don't. And much of that came through the debate in my motion that was failed a while back. So what I'm trying to do is eliminate the fallacy that they are trying to present. Sometimes if we don't verify facts, we will start to believe it. It's almost like this situation where the Honorable Premier has said that the cruise industry is going to leave if we have a referendum. Yet still I haven't seen any correspondence from the government to prove that, where the cruise lines say if you will have a referendum for your people on whether they want a port or not, or what kind of port they're going to have, that they're going to leave. So we got to remember, politicians are not always honest. So you have to check. You have to check the facts of what they say. So
that's a statement.
But it's the truth. It's the truth. They're making it perceive like they don't have any authority over controlling the narrative of Caymanians being in decision-making positions. And I disagree with that. I think they have all the authority in the world. We have great attorneys like Steve McField, who's been in this for a long, long time, explaining his interpretation of what the law is, and it says so right there in the Constitution. But the government continues to try to dispel that they don't, to try to get away from responsibility. And I want the Attorney General, because he's the advisor to the Cayman Islands government.
So how did that work when he was deputy governor? Isn't that a conflict?
Sorry, I don't quite get the point. I'm lost. Explain, elaborate so that people can hear you too and understand.
I got a press release recently.
Yes.
That the Honorable Sam Bulgin, I guess, Honorable Franz Manderson was off island and once again chosen an individual to be acting governor or deputy governor.
Yes.
And Mr. Bulgin was that honor about was it the 28th when they had the dinner at the Jamaican thing?
Yes.
Recently.
Which I wasn't invited to, so we're going to be talking about that. I'm not happy about that. So the government who decided to go ahead and have this little dinner and function and haven't invited anybody from the opposition, it really annoys me,
But how can he be governor and at the same time hold the same post as Attorney General, whom basically advises and represents the government in the legal sense of it?
That's a good point. I never thought of that. He's probably one of the ones that probably shouldn't be able to be deputy governor at the same time as be Attorney General. Well, I think what would end up happening, maybe this might make sense. Maybe his deputy then takes his role, and he no longer has the role as Attorney General. I don't think he's holding both posts at the same time.
But isn't that still a conflict? But I'm just saying, when anyone takes to read the conflicts of law, I'll give you the book.
One would say then it's a conflict for the acting deputy governor to take the acting governor's position for those 5 months, because he's going to go back to deputy. So you could say that's a conflict too.
Not necessarily, because both of them are still in charge of civil service, but none of them advises government.
Okay, good points. Some good points, and I think that they're listening, and they should be mindful. And analysis and debate and dialogue like this is always what triggers people to change their behavior and thoughts, right? So I'm glad. And much of what you've said on this show over the last few years has actually triggered governments to do different things. And we've acknowledged that before, right?
Yeah.
So
like the gambling law. like the stamp duty law.
Like the stamp duty law. But that being said, I want to surpass that. The questions to the Attorney General in respect to the pension, why civil servants are not allowed to withdraw, but public service is allowed to withdraw. Also, this determination of whether or not the members of parliament have the power to vote to mandate that Caymanians are in certain positions, because the government tries to put this idea that they can't do that, and I don't think that that's the case. I know it's not the case, but I have to use the authority that is recognized in the country as the position, so they can no longer use the excuse. I can say, well, hold on, the legal advisor of the country is interpreting this the same way I've interpreted it, so whatever you say is nil and void, because it basically boils down to what Kenneth says and what the premier says as what the interpretation is. And then it's ambiguous. So I want it clarified. So whoever it is to make that interpretation, make the interpretation so we don't have any ambiguity anymore.
Special Section 16, subsection 5.
Yes. And we're going to be getting into a little bit of that shortly. So those questions, those questions are going to have
You're
been
really working for the people.
Yes, I am, and as you can see, these are just.
I'm proud of you, Kenneth. Hey, look how organized you are.
I told you, like,
well, you've matured up.
I said that, you know, I genuinely have to present myself as a real option to be a leader one day, and it's going to take a few years for people to start to come around and say that young man is preparing himself, and this is a part of it. So. One of the other questions that I've put in that I didn't talk about the last time I was on the show was, do you remember that I moved the motion and the government accepted that there's be an increase in the withdrawals from the pension in order for a person to pay off their home? A number of people have been asking me, what's the story about that? When is it going to come into law? And I'm sad to say that it's not going to be coming to the House this time, because let me give a little bit of background quickly. When a motion comes to the Parliament, when it's succeeded and it's voted on in favor, then the government has to go off with the legal drafters to make the necessary changes of what the content of the motion suggests. And in this case, it shouldn't be much of a big deal, because it's just moving from 35,000 to 50,000. So you're changing 2 words. So I don't know what the long, drawn-out hold-up is, but they're saying that they haven't done that yet. And this is now the second sitting since my motion. Now, remember, my motion came in June, right? Then we had another sitting in Cayman just recently. That they could have brought the changes then, so we can get the process going. Now we're having another sitting again now, and they still haven't brought the changes. So what is upsetting for me about this is they're not making it a priority to bring my motion and the necessary legal drafting to make it come into effect to help Caymanians. So every month that passes gives another Caymanian who may be in danger of losing their home to use that hope of that $50,000 to pay off their home rather than lose it. And you see, this is what bothers me. It's like, okay, yes, you agree with the motion, but why don't you make it a priority to get the motion here? This is a timely one, because every day that passes gives a person who want to use this, who would potentially in threat of losing their home, more and more in danger. And you're not talking about like a big time drafting change. You're talking about changing 2 words. And I think that it will go through the Parliament quite easily within a space of probably 35 minutes, because everybody say yes, 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 because we've already agreed on it. But prioritizing. And again, so anyway, let me get back to what the question was about, because I filed another question to hear what their excuse is going to be. And the question is, can the minister say when does he intend to bring the necessary legislative changes to the national pensions law that will give effect to the private members' motion number 12 of 2017-2018, passed on the 28th of June 2018 in the Legislative Assembly? And that was my motion. So how long? Basically, the question is, how long is it going to take before you bring it? Because people are waiting. There are Caymanians who go, Ken, I'm glad that you got this motion passed, but when it's going to come into effect? They technically can just show face by saying, "Oh, we agreed to it," and never bring it into law.
No, that's like the public and standard line.
Yeah, exactly.
But I hope you take this in the right way. I'm not sure if you may, but last week you touting the prowess, I guess you would say, of the premier.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was listening to you just now, I had deja vu. I had deja vu of the frustrations of the now premier when he was leader of the opposition. Saying the same rough stuff, that his motions and opposition was being ignored and was basically thwarting their voices when the Honorable Makiva Bush was premier at that time.
Well, I tell you what,
It's kind of strange, isn't it? I mean, I just thought it was awkward that you're articulating the same things that he did, and yet he's practicing
the same
what he was frustrated
but it's
with.
politics 101, right? I'm not surprised by it. A little frustrated, but I'm not upset by it. I understand that that's what it is. But what I want is the people to understand that politics is what is hurting the success of solutions for them. So we have a solution here, something to help people. But because of politics and immature behavior, they're not getting the solutions they need. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not surprised, but I know it's going to happen. I know that they don't want me to succeed. But I'm going to make sure that they realize that people know the reasons why things are not happening that are brought by myself or anybody else because of politics. They tell me one. I want to give justification where it's right? Give me one good reason why they could not bring this motion that all asks them to do, or bring the legislation of the bill that asks them to do just one thing. Change the words 35 to 50. That's all you got to do. That's it. You mean to tell me one legal drafter couldn't do that in the House and be brought it either by the last sitting or by this sitting? It's not a priority for them. So those of you out there who are sitting at home hoping that you could have withdrawn that $50,000 to pay off your home before you lose it, put that squarely in the hands of every member of government on the opposite side, because that's where it is. And this is not politics. That is a fact. I was happy they supported me. I'm saying, okay, great. The government is getting the idea. They're there to say, well, you know what? This is a good thing. So we agree on one thing. Mm-hmm. But then you go and you wait forever to bring it. You know how many people can lose their home between now and when the next sitting of the House is? And God forbid, it might not be till January. That's 3 other months. Think about a Caymanian at home now who don't have a job because for whatever reason, the bank is down on them and they said, you know what? I only got $42,000 left. Let me pay that off because I don't know when I'm going to get another job. And then on January 1st or February 1st, they lose their house. What are you going to tell that person? Because you were too damn lazy to change 2 words in a law to save a person's house. Priority. That's what this is about. Anyway, I see we have a caller.
Good morning, caller. How are you this morning?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Dr. McField. Good morning, sir.
I can apologize that I had trouble with, did you say with our phone? I could receive your call, but couldn't call you back.
It's okay. Dr. McField, I know you're a busy man.
Sorted out. Kenneth and Woody, I just would like you to go back to Section 16.5 of the Constitution.
Yep.
And understand what it says.
16.5?
What Section 16.5 actually states, and I'm just restating it. That a law that states that every member of the public service, the government entities and government corporations, of whatever, is to be Caymanian is not discriminatory. It does not fall foul of Section 1, which is the discriminatory section.
Yep.
So when the government says that they don't have, they can't mandate now that everybody who works in the civil service or heads of chief officers of Caymanian it's true, because they have not brought in the law to do so. They have to bring in the law that says so. That's what Section 16.5 says.
Mm-hmm.
If they bring in that law, nobody can challenge it as being discriminatory. And that is what Section 16.5 says. So I have been saying all along, since 2009, the government has not brought in these laws. You have opposition, you have independents. They should get together and bring a bill to enact the law and let the government vote it down. And then the people would see what side the government is on, whether the government is on the side of the people or whether the government is against the people.
Well, Doctor,
that's what in all the parliaments.
Doctor, I want to ask you a question. I mean, I brought this up to MLA Kenneth Bryan. I mean, I cited that one before, and it's the one that you and I have been talking about for a long period of time. But one could say that the ultimate law of the land, the primary law of the land, other than the Queen, because this is subservient to her, is the Constitution. So for you, I know you and I know this like the back of our hands, right? But for those out there that don't understand why Mr. Brian is asking the question, to give a little bit of context, there's nothing in any law.
That's right.
Shall in any law shall be held to contravene subsection 1 to the extent that it requires a person to be Caymanian or to possess any other qualifications not being a qualified specifically relating to any description of grounds as mentioned in subsection 2 in order to be eligible for appointment to any office in the public service or any disciplined service, as Mr. Brian was asking for before, or any other office in the service of a local government authority or of any body corporate established directly by any law for public purposes. And so you can look at any law. You can look at the immigration law. You can look at the PMFL. You can look at all of those other ones. And we have laws there. This law supersedes that. And no law, no matter what it is, shall not contravene this particular policy. So it can become a government policy before they even create a relaxation, so to speak.
So what you would have to do, you would have to amend that law to say that. You have to amend the law to say that, but the immigration law doesn't say that now. The only law that says in a position with the government you have to be a Caymanian is a constitution that says the deputy governor has to be a Caymanian.
So Dr. McPhail, let me see if I understand what you're suggesting. And I'm not trying to be funny or anything. I just want to make sure that we can learn together and the people that are listening are learning together. You're saying that this part of the Constitution clearly states that they're allowed to do it, but we have to create... Wait, Dr. Mafia, let me get this out. We're allowed to discriminate and say that we want to mandate certain posts to be Caymanian, but we have to go off and create a separate bill to suggest exactly the same thing that's already in the Constitution?
We can do that, or we can put it in each law, where Caymanians have to be hired in the public service. Do you understand that?
Well, I think I haven't got the full clarity of that, but I believe that the Constitution is, I think they have the right to do so already.
That's very simple. We can have an overriding law that says so, or we can put it in each law where Caymanians are hired. For instance, in the airport authority law, we can put it in the NRA law. We can put it in all of those laws. We can have a clause there.
That
provides that people hired in these particular positions have to be Caymanians. We can put it in the fire service law, whatever that is.
Well, what I'm suggesting is that though that would be more convenient, so there's full clarity to it, they already have the authority by way of Constitution.
They have the Constitution is a law. It has to be a law. It has to be in the law. Read it again. What it says.
Well, okay. Well, I think I get what you're saying, but what you're saying, so because something is in the Constitution but it's not in law, that we don't have to abide by it. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, Kenneth. If you want to have people, Caymanians only, in the civil service, in the public service, you have to do it by law. And that law is not discriminatory according to section 1 of the section 16, which is the discriminatory section. Section 1 says that you can't discriminate because of color, race, creed, country, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
And Section 5 says, if you have a law that says that only Caymanians can be in these positions, that is not discriminatory. That, in other words, Section 5, that exempts it. That law would exempt the Caymanian only being in the job from Section 1.
Nothing in any law shall be held to contravene subsection 1.
That's the end of law.
Okay. So because you're saying that it's not in law, they technically don't have the right to discriminate right now? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Because what law that says that you have to be a Caymanian to work in the
so what's,
give me the immigration law that says to have a Caymanian to be working in immigration or the fire service or the police.
So you're agreeing with the government's position then, is what you're saying?
Well, I have to, because the government has not brought a law that says so. Otherwise.
Okay. And you don't think they can demand it by way of policy?
No, it has to be a law.
Okay. All right. Well, Doc, thank you so much, Doc. I appreciate that advice. And if your interpretation is the same as mine, I'm going to do some more research in that respect. But I must say, though, I can't see
and again,
how.
Kenneth,
Yes.
And again, Kenneth, the other thing before you go, because I know I don't want to take up your time.
Mm.
It does not have to be the pension issue to save Caymanian homes. The British people in 1974 enacted a law to prevent the banks from doing what you want them to do here. It's called the Consumer Credit Act. There is nothing wrong. They have done this in every other way. The traffic law, every other law, they import it from those countries. They rewrite it here to suit Cayman. There is nothing wrong with you or the other members of the opposition to import that law and to amend it and bring a bill to rectify the situation that the Caymanian people found themselves in.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc.
It's called the Consumer Credit Act.
Thank you, Doc.
Which gives the court, a judge in the High Court in England, the power to rewrite the mortgage if they think that it's unconscionable what the bank is doing, and to say how much the people can pay and to prevent them from taking their houses away.
Thank you, Doc. I appreciate your input there. I think that he's 100% correct. We can bring in other legislation from elsewhere in respect to protecting people's homes. That's one of the things that I've suggested that the Honorable Minister look into. And just so he's clear on some of the facets of what he suggested, yes, we could go off and draft up a bill and present it to the House. But there's a number of other things that has to be considered before that's done that is within the government. And as the good Dr. Macfield well is aware, the opposition, nor me as the independent member of Parliament, of the Legislative Assembly, have the funds or the allocations for legal drafters. And unless I am capable of getting some well-learned legal drafter to come in and donate a couple, maybe 100 hours worth of their time to draft up much of this legislation, it's quite difficult.
They will still tell you they need to go through legal
drafting. Yeah, they're still going to, even if you bring the bill, because the complexities of it, the chances of success are so minuscule because they would justifiably have the right to say, I have to go through and examine exactly what the ramifications of each one of these bills are. And that's the difficulty. And I would never really try to put the government in that position, but for them to use the resources that are available to them through legal drafting. And everybody knows the opposition does not have access to that. Any interpretation that I need to get on any legislation here, there's nobody there to help me. Not one soul. So sometimes even if I get a misunderstanding of a piece of legislation, thank God I'm even looking at it, because the government does not give any resources to persons who are independent of the House and as an independent member of government, because they don't want me to succeed. Why would they put funds available for me to be better at my job? It's the politics of it all. And I thank Dr. Macfield for helping more often, but maybe you can donate a couple hours to sit with me as well, okay? So God bless you for that. We'll go at a break right now, and I'll come back and we'll talk about the gambling law when we get back.
Ooh. More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27 is next.
Attention viewers of Cayman 27, the Truth of God television program with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ can now be seen exclusively in the Cayman Islands on this channel every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. You won't want to miss the dynamic preaching and teachings of Pastor Jennings as he speaks the truth from God's Holy Bible. Tune in every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. for the 1-hour broadcast of the Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings exclusively on Cayman 27. Cayman Informed.
Some say the time of miracles is past, but we see miracles all around us, every day. Some could not walk. Some could not breathe. Some had lost all hope. But something amazing happened. Something that can't be analyzed or quantified. Something that is more than good medicine. Holy Cross.
Have you had your Tortuga moment today? Come by Tortuga Fine Wine and Spirits for all your liquor needs and taste the world-famous Tortuga rum and rum cake. Always delicious and baked fresh daily in the captivating Cayman Islands. With ongoing renovations at the airport, we invite you to shop our stores and buy before you fly. Relive the Cayman Islands in every bite.
It's that time of year again for the annual Cayman 27 Parade of Lights, brought to you by Bogle Insurance Brokers Limited. We're calling all boats to join us Saturday, December 1st at Camana Bay as the water comes to life with this year's theme, Christmas Around the World. It's completely free to enter, and there's a chance to win $1,000 and 2 general admission tickets to Kaboom. Or enter just for fun. Private and commercial boats are welcome. For more information and to register your boat, click on cayman27.ky.
MLA Kenneth Bryan from the electoral district of Georgetown Central. He's in the studios with us this morning, and if you want to participate, you can, 233-1019 or WhatsApp. I got some WhatsApps that came through, which is 324-1019. That is 324-1019. Also on our social media page, which is Cayman Crosstalk. Drop us a line there. We'd be happy to share those with all of you. And I just want to let you know, Kenny, your friend, MP Thomas
Famous,
is listening.
Yes, that's my boy. Famous, and to everybody back home where you guys are at, I just want to say a very big good morning to you. Thanks for continuing to give support, and I hope the citizens of your land know that you have good support from here in the Cayman Islands. That being said, I think we better move on because we got 9:35, got 25 minutes to focus on this gambling law. I know you've touched on it a little bit already, and I think many people are discussing this upcoming bill, which suggests to make amendments to the 2016 revision of the gambling law. And in those amendments, it's suggesting that we make some increases to the penalties surrounding the gambling law. Matter of fact, am I having deja vu, or did Dwayne at Wayne had at some stage in the last administration made some suggestions to increase the penalties as well?
No.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'm just having some deja vu there then. With those increase in those penalties have created some much controversy for persons like myself to re-examine what the current law says and the fairness and equality within the law. Because the first thing that came to mind was that persons who are involved in what you call the illegal numbers game right now, obviously are not going to be happy because first of all, it says that they're going to be targets. And then as representatives of all the people, regardless if you're involved in criminality or not, my job is still there to represent you. I've had expressions to say, well, Kenneth, the law is contradictory. It's unfair. It's biased. I said, well, okay, how? I said, well, they're doing exactly the same thing through the nonprofits and the churches and the raffles and the like. So ultimately, I had to examine that theory, whether that's a factual theory or not, and what the law says to that. So I started to do that, and funny enough, that is 100% true. And I think it's time that we clarify that, because in examining the law, one of the key things that came to my mind is that, do you think gambling is illegal here in the Cayman Islands, Woody?
In the government sense, it's played, but let's put it this way. My answer, as you well know, I just can't say yes or no. So I will be a worse witness on a court stand because I just can't answer questions like that. Here's my thing, and this has always been it. If I don't mind reading to your hearing, to everyone's to your hearing, it says just you pulling one out, just one out. Section 10 of the Gambling Law, 2016 revision. Like I said, I had 4 shows on this, and hence the reason why I believe it pushed it this way. A person who is found using a place for the purpose of gambling or betting without permission of the owner or occupier commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine of a whopping $10 or imprisonment with or without hard labor. Come on, with hard labor. That would never work in this world. But the point is that we have it. Here's a hypocrisy.
Sorry, I got to stop you because I was trying to get to a point in respect to whether or not it's lawful in the Cayman Islands or not.
Yes, it is.
It is lawful, or is it illegal?
No, it's lawful.
It is lawful. So gambling is.
It's lawful to have a raffle, which is the same almost definition, but the titles have changed. You can't have a lottery ticket, but you can have a raffle ticket.
Okay, so I want you to examine something with me in Section 4 of the Gambling Law, right? If you go to Section 4 of the Gambling Law, it says, the first part, it has a list of Section 4, and it has some subsections A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I, right?
And the subtitle is offenses.
Offenses, exactly. So what are offenses? And it reads as such: a person who, and I want you to go to I, it says, commits an act of unlawful gambling, commits an offense and is liable to conviction and fine of $400 or imprisonment with or without hard labor or 12 months. Now, when you say if they commit unlawful gambling, is that suggesting that we have lawful gambling? It's either illegal. You see, there's a difference between illegal gambling and unlawful gambling because one infers that one is legal and one isn't.
That's correct.
Okay. Now,
unlawful gaming includes cockfighting, whether for a stake or not. That is, you can find that under subsection 2.
No, I think it's
section 2.
Section 1.
No, section 2. I'm telling you.
Oh, on the short titles.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, you're right. On the short titles.
And it'll give you what unlawful gaming includes: cockfighting, whether for stake or not, whether practiced publicly or privately, the act of betting or playing a game for a stake when practiced, or upon the path, street, or road, or place in which the public have access, whether or not a right to do it. I guess you can't throw dice in a sidewalk, public sidewalk.
Yeah.
And any premises in which a license has been granted to distill, manufacture, sell, or possess rum or any intoxicating liquor. So that means any bar room cannot have any kind of gambling in it whatsoever.
Like it makes a difference where you do it. Go ahead.
And in a common gaming house as defined under the law.
Okay, now, good. So it defines unlawful gaming. Again, another area of the law that talks about unlawful gaming. So research suggests that there is lawful gaming. And this is where the controversy comes in. Because the whole law that talks about what is not allowed and all that starts in Section 2 of applications. And the whole law, or this whole thing, doesn't apply to certain people in our society, or certain groups, should I say. And it says in Section 2A, this law shall not apply to, and just to sum it up, it just basically says passenger ships. The cruise ships are not allowed, they're not subject to this law, so they can't be held if they're gambling out in our waters, right?
International
waters. And, well, technically our waters, because if they're in international waters, we have no legislative right over them. So I think there's a certain distance that is required. 3 miles out. Okay. But it goes on to the second section, B, and these are the two areas that are exempt from this law, right? Raffles staged by churches, service organizations, and other voluntary associations to raise funds for the programs of the respective churches, organizations, and associations. Now, the key word I find in that, in respect to the exemption or this law not applying to them, is the word raffle. Because it doesn't say gaming by churches or service organizations. I don't think they would be that bold. So they had to disguise it, you see. They had to say, call it something else. But it's the same thing. Because we're now going to examine what the law says gaming is and what the law say raffles is, right?
And when you find that, I just got to take this one break. Right. You're teasing people. Find that definition.
I already have it. I'm ready for it.
More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27. is next.
Burger King's epic 2 for $6 deal.
It's that time of year again for the annual Cayman 27 Parade of Lights, brought to you by Bogle Insurance Brokers Limited. We're calling all boats to join us Saturday, December 1st at Cabana Bay as the water comes to life with this year's theme, Christmas Around the World. It's completely free to enter, and there's a chance to win $1,000 and 2 general admission tickets to Kaboo. Or enter just for fun. Private and commercial boats are welcome. For more information and to register your boat, click on cayman27.ky.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount. Carpet, any style, carpet or tile, insulation and drywall too. Everything's beautiful, come and see. The Paramount name means quality. It'll be a brand new world under your feet. We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount. Carpet. Mobil One The Grid is your VIP pass behind the scenes across the world of motorsport.
You're going to see that aggression start from the Daytona 500 all the way up until the end of the year.
I feel for the guys, driving past as close as I can, as fast as I can.
A great win. Porsche win Le Mans.
It's wall-to-wall action. There's no room for error.
These trucks will jump 15, 20 feet in the air.
Snarls traffic. What's up, everyone? I'm Doug Dodds. Here's today's top stories from the Cayman 27 newsroom. One man remains in hospital after a violent altercation in Georgetown. According to police, several men were involved in a confrontation Tuesday evening when one man, armed with a machete, lacerated the victim's head. Now, the wounded man then fled but was later hit by a car. Police say 46-year-old suspect is in custody in connection with the incident. In other news today marks the open season on conch and whelks. The Department of Environment limits for conch are 5 per person or 10 per boat per day, whichever is less. For whelk, the daily limits are 2.5 gallons in the shell or half of a 5-gallon bucket or 2.5 pounds clean. Finally today, more than 23,600 invasive green iguanas have been killed and counted so far in this year's cull. More than 9,800 green iguanas were delivered to the landfill on Tuesday, some 4,000 fewer than the cull's opening day tally of more than 13,800. For more news on these stories and others, click on Cayman27.ky or watch the news tonight at 6 with a replay at 7. For Hurley's Media, I'm Doug Dodds. Have a great day.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for tuning in. A happy Thursday to all of you. It is Thunder's Thursdays. We have MLA Kenneth Bryan in the studios with us this morning, and he's touching on what he's going to be debating in the upcoming sitting of the Legislative Assembly, which is the gambling law. He was just going to read to all of you last segment. He touched on the definitions, and the raffles seems to be legal in the Cayman Islands, and for a select few. In fact, 3 categories of enterprises.
Yes, and Woody, what we were saying before we went to the break was that there are certain individuals that are exempt from the gambling law. So if you're exempt from it or it shall not apply to you, that makes it legal for you to do things that are referred to as gambling. But strategically, whoever drafted this bill tried to maneuver around the reality that the word raffles is exactly the same thing as gambling. Now, that might have been a reason because of our the perception that raffles are gambling, but I've had the opportunity to speak to three main stakeholders: the Ministers Association, the Chamber, and the public. I think those are the two sides of the story. That there are three fractions of our society that would have a major viewpoint on this. And based on what I gathered, now these are not official positions, but just general conversations, they all believe raffles are exactly that, gambling. And I want to examine why. Let's the definition within the gambling law of what gambling is. It says, means to play any game, whether by skill or chance, for money or money's worth. Right? Means to play any game means to play any game, whether by skill or chance, for money or money's worth.
I think that's a Webster's dictionary definition as well.
Probably is. But let's examine what the definition of raffles is. Raffles means the sale of numbered tickets, one or more of which is drawn at random for awarding of a prize. Now, the key things in the definition of gambling is to play a game, right? And the game is the raffle. By skill or chance, and the chance within raffling is the random part. So random and chance are equivalent to each other. In gambling, it says for money or money's worth. Do you think awarding of a prize that is in the definition of raffle is money's worth? And in most cases, raffles, it is money. Literally like thousands, and if not, the last one I saw was like 40,000. And this is something that the government does themselves. Yeah. Look at the agriculture show. My mom called me yesterday and said, Kenneth, you realize that the agriculture show that the government puts on, that gives money? I said, geez, Mom, I didn't even think about that. I'm here thinking about all the nonprofit organizations who are doing it for a good reason and all that. But the government is not even exempt from this.
Well, the government is a sponsor of the Ag Show.
Yes.
But the difference is, and I say this respectfully, is the Agriculture Society that actually puts on the Agriculture Show, which is subsidized and supplemented by government, but it's a society on its own.
Fair enough.
And
but
so
that
may fall into the category of other
fair enough. So they.
But here's the thing. Here's the kicker. When you go to a government meeting and they say we're to entice you to come to our government meeting and say we put your name down. Once you put your name down, we're going to give you a ticket. And the ticket is going to have a name on there or a number on there. We're going to have a raffle, and we're going to give away a Cayman Airways ticket to any destination you want. That's a game of chance.
That's a game of chance, and for a prize as well.
Yeah.
So there, I think most other members have already said this, and many persons in the public has already said this, that we're defining that those are exactly the same thing.
Before we end this break, can you read for me just for those out there?
Yes.
Lottery ticket, the definition.
The definition of lottery ticket. Do you want the lottery ticket or just the lottery itself?
Lottery ticket. Because remember, they gave a raffle ticket, what a raffle means and stuff like that, right?
Lottery ticket includes any paper, figure, writing, symbol, or other articles, whether whatsoever, which either expressingly or tactically entitles or purports to entitle the holder or any other person to receive any money or money's worth on the happening of any event or contingency connected with any public lottery. I didn't even read that one.
And if you go right up above it, just read lottery. And that'll even slap you in the face even more.
Yeah, because this is exactly things that the government does.
It's the same kind of phrasing. It's just more wording.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more stuff than raffle.
So bottom line is the hypocrisy within this law is just ridiculous, right? And we got to stop pretending. It's either one of two things that are going to have to happen in this country before we go to the break. And I want people to think about this. It's either nobody's going to be allowed to gamble, or everybody's going to be allowed to gamble. It's unfair. I don't care whether we think those persons are criminal. My job is to give fairness and opportunity for every Caymanian. I cannot look at a person who says, I'm going to spend $5 to see if I can make $50 on an illegal gambling thing, and then say that somebody else is allowed to do it in a maneuvered way to be justified to do that. It's just not right. Well, I may not necessarily like the fact that numbers
I like going to the gas station, Kenneth, and filling up and getting a raffle ticket. to win 25 grand, don't you?
Yeah, well,
That's going to stop.
The funny part is that the gas stations are involved in it. Anyway, that being said, we go into a break. We'll be right back.
More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27 is next.
It's time to celebrate. Join family and friends as we honor UCCI's graduating class of 2018. EY is proud to be the exclusive television broadcast sponsor of the University College of the Cayman Islands graduation ceremony. Tune in to Cayman 27 Thursday, November 1st at 7 p.m. Let's celebrate our graduates and their new beginnings. Live on Cayman 27 Thursday, November 1st at 7 p.m. EY, proud telecast sponsor, committed to giving back to the community and recognizing talent.
Get ready to laugh as TV's funniest hidden camera show will have you in stitches. Just for Laughs, the Laugh Out Loud comedy show catches unsuspecting people in some of the funniest situations. It's Just for Laughs, and it's only here on Cayman 27. Catch it Monday through Friday.
We believe that every life matters and that we are all connected. One community, one people. We believe in compassion to give dignity to those that society has let down. We strive to conquer fear, and we believe that the power to heal is a gift. This is who we are. This is what we believe. Holy Cross.
The flavor with a beat. Black thing now move up him dancing feet. We dance them flavor with a beat. Holy sauce, yeah, we acting on the street. Young, middle age, or old, move your feet. When bass, if we dance, everybody have to do it.
Grace, feel the vibe, can't you feel it? Grace, delicious, so nutritious. Yes, quality when it tastes it. Want affordable, look for the label.
Flavor we are fear because the spice is clearing. Flavor with a beat, no other brand than near we.
One taste and you know Grace is real.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. We're Cayman 27, Cayman Informed.
I don't even know what to say in respect to the legislation that we have here. And the thing is, the part that disturbs me is that in the press release by the government, the suggestion to increase the penalties on persons who were involved in local numbers is based on the thinking or reasoning or evidence of crime that they say connected to the illegal numbered market is on the increase. Now, I think that's worth challenging, but it's minuscule. It's not that big of a deal. Any crime you want to reduce. So I give, if that's their intent, then I give credit to the government. Obviously, they're trying their best to rectify these things. The police commissioner has, and the police department has obviously voiced that this is a concern for them, so address the matter. But sadly, I think that one thing that the opposition leader and me as the independent do agree on is that this is just going to make them the industry, this black market industry of numbers, just go further underground. And if you think about persons who are involved in numbers today, right? It's not like hardened criminals. We're talking about people who go, well, nobody really cares about numbers, so the risk level for it is really, really low. So a person who may not necessarily would want to get involved in hard crime that will put them in jail, but because the laws are so lenient in respect to the charges, you pay like $10 or $40 or some nonsense like that. They say, okay, I'm worth the risk for the reward. So obviously the government then says, let me increase the penalties, then you increase the risk. And if you increase the risk, that means the type of people who are going to be involved in it are going to be higher risk takers. And higher risk takers, particularly in an illegal activity, are going to be people who we would consider more hardened criminals. So you're going to actually do the opposite of what you intended, which is to take away the criminality from it. You're just going to make that industry of the numbers game more hardened and more heightened with criminality surrounding it, because you're going to get the type of person who go, I don't care if I go to jail for 5 years or 4 years like that's being suggested. I'm willing to still try to make the profits, as opposed to somebody who's doing it now and say, listen, I don't mind paying a fee of $10 or $40. So you're going to change the market, because one thing the proposals are not going to do, Economics 101 tells you this: where there's a demand, there's going to be a supply. Simple. So you're not changing the demand. There's people out there who want to buy it. There are people who want to take a chance for an opportunity. You need to focus on that, because thinking that you're going to increase the penalties is not going to stop the demand. And if there's a demand out there, there's going to be a supplier, whether it's going to be a hardened supplier or a person who takes small risk supplier. But if you increase the risk levels, you're going to have a harder criminal. And I think the opposite effect of what they're trying to do. But I commend them for trying to address the criminal element. But here's the point for me. In the press release, they said because of crime increase, they're going to increase the penalties. Not because it's gambling and not because it's illegal, but because the crime is increasing. So are you suggesting then that if the crime wasn't increasing, or the perceived crime surrounding the local numbers game wasn't on the increase, you wouldn't have increased the penalties? You would have been okay with it then? You'd have left it just the way it is, knowing everybody in this country, every politician knows that this game is played on a regular, and some politicians even buy. They've said so. So you know that, but the reason why you're addressing it is because of the crime, which is justified. But my question is, are you saying that if there's no crime committed around it, that you're okay with it? And I think that's what they're saying. So again, I think that it's time for us to re-examine this law. And actually, 54 years since you've actually increased the penalties, don't you think it's time now to go back to the people and say, actually, is this something that you really want illegal? Because here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you this. I cannot justify that some people are allowed to gamble and some not. It's either nobody's going to be allowed to gamble or everybody's going to be allowed to gamble, because my job is to make sure it's equal and fair to every society. And I'm going to, and proportionate. And I'm going to suggest that the part that allows the exemption for nonprofits, churches, and service organizations to be withdrawn. If they don't want to withdraw it, which I understand they would say that, because these organizations do so much for the society. They help us where the governments fail. So I suspect they're not going to want to withdraw that. And if they don't withdraw it...
Edinburgh's unique coupling of medieval Old Town and classical New Town, each of enormous distinction in its own right, has created a city of extraordinary richness and diversity, without parallel anywhere else in the world. Its architecture and historical importance set Edinburgh apart and give it a uniqueness that is a consequence of its historic existence as a significant European capital from the Renaissance.